On. Sí, sí, ahora creo que sí estamos en vivo. Ahora sí estamos en vivo. Saludos a todos, saludos a todos. No se olviden seguirnos en Instagram, el Drip y la Grasa Store. Hoy día vamos a estar hablando de varias cositas. Partidos pretemporada, partidos los que se vienen. Saludos a todos, saludos a todos. Espero que estén bien. Déjenme aquí actualizar los banners. Conéctense ahí, los voy a estar leyendo. Hoy día tenemos que hablar de los Brooklyn Nets. No sé cuánto vamos a hablar de ellos, aparte de Michael Bridges, de Jack Vaughn, el entrenador. Más allá de eso, no hay mucho que decir, güey. Pero bueno, denme un segundo acá, que estoy arreglando aquí el stream. He estado subiendo entrevistas ahí para que nos vayan a apoyar. Saludos a todos, he estado subiendo entrevistas también en TikTok. Ahí estamos trabajando duro, duro, duro. Ya faltan 12 días para el comienzo de la NBA. Falta muy, muy poco, así que ya estamos listos con las pilas puestas, recargados al máximo para sacar el mejor contenido que podamos. Bueno, se vienen grandes cosas, mi gente, se vienen grandes cosas, bueno, esta temporada. Dejen poner aquí el stream y empezamos al tiro que tengo. Hay unas cositas, también imprimí la encuesta de los gerentes generales, así que eso es lo que vamos a tocar más que nada el día de hoy con lo de Brooklyn. Déjenme actualizar aquí. Brooklyn Nets. Esta encuesta de los gerentes ya viene hace mucho tiempo, viene hace como 20 años haciéndola en ESPN. Demos un segundo. Saludos a todos, saludos a todos. No se olviden darle like, no se olviden ver ahí el Playmaker presentado por Mundo Básquet RD y pueden conseguir toda su indumentaria deportiva. Lo mismo que en el Drip y la Grasa Store. El Drip y la Grasa Store, mi gente. Saludos a todos, saludos a todos. No se olviden darle like. Estamos aquí conectados. Diablo, ahora no encuentro la foto de Brooklyn, weón. No encuentro la foto de Brooklyn ahora, weón. Ayer tuvimos unos buenos partidos. Lakers estuvo jugando ahí. No jugó AD, no jugó LeBron, no jugó Austin Reeves. No han jugado varios jugadores ahí, weón. Ahora sí, ahora sí, ahora sí, ahora sí, ahora sí, estamos listos. Ah, se me olvidó poner la música, weón, se me olvidó poner la música. Pero bueno, ahora sí empezamos el programa. Denme dar vuelta aquí la página. Dejen poner la camarita. Ahora sí, ahora creo que estamos aquí. Saludos, mi gente. Espero que estén bien. Hoy día vamos a hablar de los partidos de ayer, que sucedieron dos partiditos, Lakers contra Sacramento. Hay una revancha también. Vamos a ver aquí, partido de pretemporada. Ahora empezamos, ahora empezamos. Saludos a todos, saludos a todos. Saludos a todos, gracias por estar aquí en Envía la Chilena. Vamos a estar hablando de la encuesta de los gerentes, vamos a estar hablando un poquito sobre otras cosas también. Se ve muy, muy bueno el stream que estamos haciendo ahora. Así que saludos a todos. Recién estaba en el en vivo de mi hermano Anthony 2B17. Así que estamos listos, weón, estamos listos. Estamos listos, estamos listos. Bueno, vamos a los partidos del día de ayer, a lo que tenemos que hablar. Vamos a los partidos del día de ayer. Ayer tuvimos dos partidos. No debutó, sino jugó Boston contra Filadelfia, rivales de la conferencia del Este, y jugaron Lakers contra Sacramento Kings. Vamos a ver qué decimos de este partido. Bueno, vamos al primero. Jugaron Sixers contra Celtics. No hay que hablar mucho sobre el resultado, los puntos. Vamos a ver de qué me fijé del partido. En Filadelfia. Bueno, hay un mensaje también ahí hay que ver qué pasa con todo lo de James Harden. Ayer estaba escuchando un programa de Keith Pompey, que hace Lockton Sixer. Ahí lo estaba escuchando, saqué varias cositas que las tengo anotadas. Hoy día también vamos a tener una entrevista, al parecer, a las 6 de la tarde con David Ramil, que cubre al Miami Heat, el Lockton Heat. Así que vamos a estar ahí pendiente. Voy a hacer esta entrevista en inglés, así que si tienen alguna pregunta relacionada con el Miami Heat, escríbanla ahí. Yo la anoto ahora aquí en mi notita. Como ustedes saben, este es mi cuaderno de notas. Aquí tengo todas las cosas ahí. Pura info, pura info, pura info, pura info, pura info, pura info, pura info. Esto después va a estar en un museo, weón. Este libro de notas, weón, va a estar en un museo, weón. Cachen ahí, weón. Es como pintura mezclada con notas. Esto va a estar en un museo después, weón. Pero bueno, Vamos a estar ahí con David Ramil a las 6 de la tarde. Estoy haciendo hartas conexiones ahí, comunicándome con los brothers de Lockton NBA para entrevistarlo. Ya he entrevistado a un par de ellos, de Orlando, de Brooklyn, de los Clippers, de Wizards. He entrevistado ahí un par de muchachos, así que no, me gusta también mucho hacer ese contenido en inglés, que el brother me dijo, yo no soy la persona más adecuada como para hacer la entrevista en español, como que no sabía en español. Y eso pasa mucho, güey. La gente cree que, porque obviamente en mi canal lo hago en español, pero no saben que quizás hablo inglés, así que vamos a estar ahí, vamos a estar ahí. Bueno, Filadelfia contra Boston Celtics, ganaron Boston. Como dije, lo que se ha hablado o lo que se dice, lo que dicen los reporteros de Filadelfia es que el equipo está respondiendo bien. Ahora con Nick Nurse a la cabeza. También ahí Daniel House, que había venido antes de los Rockets, llegó ahora al equipo el año pasado, si no me equivoco, para conformar ahí a los Philadelphia Rockets con Nurse, Harden, PJ Tucker, Daniel House, Harrell creo que también está en Filadelfia, pero Daniel House dijo, ahora todos tocamos el balón, ahora todos somos parte de la ofensiva, dijo, cuando estaba Doc Rivers aquí, dijo simplemente era uno o dos jugadores, nada más, en este caso Embiid y Harden. Y también lo que escuché de Keith Pompey, dijo que el año pasado los jugadores estaban más o menos distanciados, cada uno estaba en su grupo, y por eso también quizás vimos los resultados que vimos y hemos visto en los últimos años de Filadelfia. También ahí me llama la atención de que a veces se excuse o se le dé el beneficio de la duda a Joel Embiid de decir, no, es que ¿con quién lo estaban comparando? Lo estaban comparando con otro jugador y decía, no, es que este otro jugador ha tenido más constancia, la gerencia ha sido esto, que aquí, que allá, que han venido a ser, o sea, lo mismo, bueno, o sea, lo que están diciendo es que la culpa es de la gerencia de los Sixers, la culpa de los gerentes, la gerencia de los entrenadores de los Sixers, de los compañeros de Joel Embiid, o sea, Joel Embiid no ha jugado con nadie, o sea, toda la culpa es alrededor de Joel Embiid y él no tiene ninguna culpa. Bueno, eso es un tema aparte. Pero también lo que escuché ahí es que obviamente la ofensiva está fluyendo un poquito mejor, todos tocando la pelota. También hubo unas declaraciones de Doc Rivers el día de ayer que dijo, le preguntaron cómo era tu relación con James Harden y dijo, no era ni buena ni mala, era neutra y nada más que eso, fue cordial, pero dijo, no fue ni buena ni mala mi relación con Harden. Y también dijo, yo tengo formas de cómo creo que hay que yo tengo formas de cómo creo que hay que jugar para ganar. Y él dijo, yo no iba a transar eso con James Harden. ¿Qué estaba diciendo ahí? Tenemos que interpretarlo. Quizás, ¿qué estaba diciendo? Que James Harden quería ser la primera espada o quería tener el mismo brillo que Joel Embiid, tomar los mismos tiros que Joel Embiid. Y al parecer ahí Doc Rivers no dio el brazo a torcer, lo cual terminó siendo sacado del equipo de Filadelfia, entre comillas, por James Harden. Que también eso es lo otro chistoso. Bueno, James Harden no le dieron el contrato, quiso salir de Doc Rivers, no necesariamente él, pero sacaron a Doc Rivers mayoritariamente en la mayoría por James Harden y ahora sigue con las loqueras. Pero bueno, eso es lo que se ha reportado detrás de escena, digamos, con la inclusión de Nick Nurse, que viene de ser campeón en Toronto y que hace jugar muchos minutos a los jugadores. ¿Qué más? Bueno, las declaraciones de Harden, de Doc Rivers. Michael Rubin. Para los que conocen a Michael Rubin, ese tipo que hace las fiestas todos vestidos de blanco. Hay que tener cuidado ahí si lo invitan a esas fiestas. Pero bueno, Michael Rubin también estuvo en la gerencia de Filadelfia y en este caso dijo, nada de esto que pasa con Harden ahora hubiese pasado conmigo. James Harden es como un hermano para mí y aquí y allá. ¿Qué significa eso? Lo mismo, tenemos que seguir interpretando los mensajes. ¿Qué significa eso? Que si él hubiese estado ahí, Michael Rubin le hubiese dado el contrato a James Harden. Hay unos comentarios ahí. Dice Harden siempre quiere jugar a su manera, eso quería hacerlo también en Brooklyn Nets. En Brooklyn saludo a Dani Mateo 007, saludo hermano. Como les dije, Harden en el pasado podía hacer las dos cosas, podía anotar a nivel elite y podía asistir a nivel elite. En cambio ahora hizo la transición de alguna manera a hacer 100% pasar el balón. También puede anotar, de repente lo hace en los playoffs, te da 30 puntitos o algo, o te gana un partido como lo hizo con Boston, pero se cae James Harden, no mantiene un nivel. Saludos ahí a todos, no se olviden dejarnos ahí sus comentarios. Bueno, ¿qué más dijo Michael Rubin también? Tuvo unas declaraciones sobre James Harden, voy a buscarla ahora, sobre el título. Dijo, nadie quiere ganar un título más que James Harden. Yo entiendo por qué él se fue de los Rockets, que ya tú no podías darle nada más. a esa franquicia y se tuvo que ir y pidió un cambio. Bueno, lo mismo, seguir cubriendo las espaldas de James Harden. Bueno, ayer estuvimos hablando de eso, uno de los mejores jugadores que renuncia en la historia de la NBA. Bastante cobarde James Harden, bueno. Esto es lo que dijo. Por aquí. Dice, primero que nada, esto no hubiese pasado, todo el conflicto con Harden. Dice, James es familia para mí. Dice, yo no voy a ocultar eso. Yo amo a James. Dice, la cosa que está rompiendo mi corazón, dice, es que esto no se ha manejado bien. Dice, no hay nadie que quiera ganar un campeonato más que James Harden. En serio, weón. Y eso es lo otro que siempre les digo, weón. Análisis del discurso. ¿Por qué se sale a decir esto ahora? ¿Por qué Michael Rubin no salió a decir esto antes? ¿Por qué ahora está haciendo esto con estas declaraciones sobre Harden? Y lo otro también, Harden, nos vimos lo que pasó con Ben Simmons cuando tuvo todo ahí el encontrón con Filadelfia y Ben Simmons entró a la mala, o sea, fue entrenada a la mala, tenía el celular creo en el bolsillo y estaba con esa actitud rancia. James Harden está empezando a hacer bien las cosas en esta primera semana, que ha sido un compañero ejemplar y aquí y allá que se ha portado muy bien. Quizá James Harden en un par de días cambia la técnica. Quizá James Harden dice esta técnica de ser el buen compañero, de no generar problemas, de venir a entrenar, de venir aquí al equipo, no me está resultando. Quizá voy a tener que cambiar la técnica y dejarla cagar literalmente para poder salir de aquí. Es brígido si lo pensamos de esa manera, weón, cómo es la psiquis de James Harden y cómo es medio maquiavélico su accionar, weón. Bastante ahí premeditado lo de James Harden, weón. Pero bueno, sigamos con las declaraciones. Dice... yo conozco a este tipo como mi hermano, dice, la gente critica a James Harden porque, tú sabes, a él le gusta divertirse. Bueno, eso es verdad también, que a veces James Harden como que obviamente no tiene esposa, no tiene hijo, igual que KD, y la gente como que ve solamente ese lado de, claro, eso es lo otro, ahí estoy conectando los puntos, bueno. Es distinto un jugador que, bueno, que tampoco pasó con Westbrook, porque Westbrook era un hombre de familia, igual lo criticaban, igual lo crucificaban, pero es muy distinto ver a un jugador en situaciones parecidas a la de Harden que sea un hombre de familia, y que no salga a divertirse, y que no salga al strip club, y que no salga con modelos y aquí y allá. Es distinto, pero bueno, hay que hablar de eso. Dice, y eso es una mierda, dice, la ética de trabajo de él para el básquetbol es una locura, dice, yo bloqueo todas las críticas hacia él, dice, porque mucha gente no conoce al verdadero James Harden y yo sé cuánto él realmente quiere ganar. Dice, yo creo que él está en una gran forma física, dice, él está no en una buena forma física, dice, él va a romperla este año. Bueno. Así, y bueno, Patrick Beverley también dijo ahí que él estaba cocinando en la práctica y que estaba haciendo sus cositas. James Harden, no se olviden ahí, cuando Harden hacía su celebración, ya la cambió después empezó a hacer los bloods, empezó a tirar los bloods, weón. Pero bueno, ¿qué hay que decir más de este equipo de Filadelfia? No mucho, más allá de eso, ayer en el partido no hay mucho que decir, weón. Pero bueno, Patrick Beverley también, como decía ahí, ha ayudado, creo, al equipo, especialmente a los jugadores jóvenes, lo que decía Keith Pompey, y también qué hay que decir de este equipo de Filadelfia, un equipo veterano, Harden, no Harden, Embiid, PJ Tucker, Tobias Harris, Patrick Beverley, como que no tiene que ser el líder vocal o tener que ser tan expresivo al momento de liderar Patrick Beverley, ya que el camerino es bastante veterano. ¿Qué más allá de eso? Bueno, eso es lo que hay que hablar de fila. Ayer, dejen ver aquí la estadística. Bueno, vamos a Boston. ¿Qué me gustó de Boston? En Celtic hizo sus cosas, o sea, en Filadelfia hizo sus cosas. Tyrese Maxey anotó 17. Kelly Oubre se vio bien. Con el triple y esas cosas. Kelly Oubre se vio bien. En Boston, por parte de Boston, Cornet, weón. La defensa de Cornet. Me da risa, weón, que el weón salta cuando está al lado del aro, cuando va a defender un triple. Pero bueno. ¿Qué me gustó de este equipo de Boston? La segunda unidad. A veces no hablamos mucho de la segunda unidad. ¿Qué está consiguiendo también al darle la extensión de contrato al soldado raso de Peyton Pritchard? Tiene lanzamiento desde la segunda unidad, lo que estaba buscando Denver también el año pasado no lo tenía mucho y por eso también trajo a Julian Strother, uno de los mejores tiradores de este draft. Pero creo que con, ¿cómo se llama? Hauser, el número 30 de los Celtics, anda, bueno, esto lo pensé hoy día en la mañana, anda por ahí con Duncan Robinson. No voy a decir que quizás está al nivel de Duncan Robinson, que es quizás uno de los mejores tripleros en la NBA o especialista de triplero, pero Hauser, bueno, vayan a ver los highlights y cómo lanza la parábola, bueno, que toma la pelota de Hauser cuando entra el triple, bueno. Increíble, bueno, así que la segunda unidad de Boston al parecer puede contar ahí con tiradores y también con lo de el soldado raso de Pritchard. ¿Y qué me llamó la atención de Luke Cornett? A veces nos quedamos simplemente, Luke Cornett es una mierda aquí y allá. Lo mismo que, no el mismo que DeAndre Jordan, pero algo parecido. Pero ¿qué llamó la atención? Y también lo escuché el otro día. La acción del dribble handoff. La acción del dribble handoff lo estuvo corriendo muy, muy bien Cornett con Pritchard, obviamente Pritchard manejando el balón. Y lo mismo, si el defensor no pelea por encima de la cortina, va a quedar el triple solo. Y eso también es lo que es distinto del básquet. El básquet es mucho de hacer reaccionar a la defensa. Si hacemos un pick and roll y la defensa se va por abajo de la cortina, nos queda un triple abierto. Y si empezamos a meter los triples cuando la defensa se va por abajo del pick and roll, en algún momento la defensa va a empezar a decir, no podemos dejarle estos tiros abiertos de triple. Va a dejar de ir por abajo de la cortina, se va a empezar a ir por arriba. Una vez que va por arriba de la cortina, se abren más jugadas. Creo que eso también es algo que no se habla mucho y que hay que estudiarlo o hay que haber jugado baloncesto. Yo nunca jugué básquet, pero sí me he ido aprendiendo un poco más, digamos, del lado táctico del básquet, no solamente del lado comunicacional, ni de las estadísticas, ni esas cosas, sino también del aspecto técnico del básquet. Bueno, el otro día estaba viendo un seminario de baloncesto, ahí voy a ver si lo comparto en el grupo, bueno, o sea, en el canal. Pero me gusta eso. Y lo mismo, Julian Strother con DeAndre Jordan. Lo mismo, DeAndre Jordan va a rolear al canasto, lo mismo que Cornet, que van a rolear al canasto y por tanto un hombre que mide 7 pies va a ser fácil dunkear o terminar en el canasto, lo van a taguear y va a quedar el espacio atrás. Así que eso también hay que decirlo. Que a veces nos quedamos que estos jugadores son malos, son de la segunda unidad aquí y allá, pero hay que darle crédito igual, güey. Sacramento contra los Lakers, ¿qué más tenemos acá? Ganaron los Lakers, güey. ¿Qué me gustó? D'Angelo Russell creando la ofensiva, pero bueno, D'Angelo Russell y muchos jugadores se ven bien en este tipo de situaciones, cuando no hay presión, cuando está jugando con jugadores más o menos nomás, porque ¿quién salió titular ayer en los Lakers? D'Angelo Russell, Vincent, Hayes, Prince, Hachimura. No estaba LeBron, no estaba AD. No es lo mismo jugar D'Angelo Russell solo con los jugadores de rol que jugar con LeBron y con AD. Vamos a estar hablando otro día también de eso, de que Darvin Ham le pidió a AD lanzar más triples, sabiendo que ¿sabían ustedes que AD lanza 30% del triple, weón? 30% del triple. Anthony Davis tiene el porcentaje número 12 peor en la historia de la NBA lanzando de triple. Anthony Davis, Giannis, Charles Barkley, Isaiah Thomas son muertos, son mancos de triple, pero tenemos un poco distorsionada, parece la perspectiva de AD, especialmente con ese tiro ganador que hizo sobre Denver y los porcentajes de la burbuja también, que no había público detrás del aro, que tuvieron 4 meses de descanso y qué casualidad que Anthony Davis no ha podido replicar. Eso es lo que también iba a decir, Juan, que obviamente las páginas publicitarias y de marketing de LeBron y los Lakers, hace 5 años LeBron y ganó lo de anillo aquí y allá. Bueno, yo como lo hablé con el Troco, no podemos descreditar o no darle el crédito, perdón, a los Lakers por el título de la anilla, de la burbuja. Pero lo que sí podemos decir, y eso es lo otro. Una cosa es el hecho de tú no poder revalidar tu título, que es lo que está buscando Denver ahora. Eso es una cosa. Warriors no lo pudo hacer el año pasado, Milwaukee no lo pudo hacer, los Lakers no lo pudo hacer, Toronto no lo pudo hacer, el último equipo que lo hizo fue Warriors con KD. Una cosa es revalidar tu título, otra cosa es jugar a un alto nivel. No hemos visto ese nivel de LeBron y AD desde la burbuja. No han jugado igual. 2021 una mierda. 2022 creo que no entraron a playoff. 2023 llegaron a una final de conferencia. Pero eso es la diferencia entre revalidar un título y jugar y mostrar ese mismo nivel que mostraste cuando ganaste el título. Son cosas muy, muy diferentes. Pero bueno, ¿qué hay que hablar de los Lakers? Besenkov, me sigo enfocando en Sacha Besenkov, buen triplero, sabe cómo jugar básquet, sabe cómo moverse sin el balón, así que muy, muy buena adición de Sacramento Besenkov, buen triplero, Bueno, los Lakers, horribles rotaciones del triple, weón. Horribles rotaciones de los Lakers en defensa, dejando triple y triple y triple, triple, triple abierto de Sacramento, weón. Un asco, weón. Un asco. Obviamente un partido de pretemporada, pero hay que decirlo, weón. También creo que se notó varias flotadoras de Sacramento, weón. Como que le costó a los Lakers defender el triple y defender la zona media. Porque, y eso es lo otro también, con un equipo contra los Lakers que quizás no tiene tanta protección del aro con estos jugadores, que no está ID, la lógica sería atacar el canasto. Pero Sacramento tirando flotadoras, tirando media y tirando de triple. ¿Qué más hay que decir de esto? El número 31 de los Kings, weón. ¿Cómo se llama ese, weón? El 31. Diablo, ni siquiera sale aquí, weón. Ni siquiera sale la... Pero bueno, vayan a buscarlo, weón. El número 31, un point guard bajito, sólido, sólido, sólido para jugar ahí en la segunda o en la banca. Lo venía siguiendo de la Liga de Verano, weón. Creo que había algo más acá. Bueno, eso fue de los Lakers con Sacramento. Se vio bien a De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox se vio muy, muy bien. Comenten ahí qué les parece lo de Ja Morant, que ahora ESPN lo cataloga como el 35 mejor jugador de la liga. Nosotros veníamos hablando hace tiempo de eso. Veníamos cuestionando a Ja Morant si sabía jugar a un nivel alto de baloncesto. No podemos cuestionar su nivel de atleticismo, pero quizás el año pasado estuvo número 9. Jamás Ja Morant ha sido un top 10 de la liga, weón. Y lo mismo, por eso cuando se dice Luka Doncic está sobrevalorado, para mí Ja Morant es uno de los jugadores más sobrevalorados en la NBA. Repito, para que quede claro, Ja Morant es uno de los jugadores más sobrevalorados en la NBA. Punto. Nada más. Si usted tiene una opinión distinta, coméntela ahí. Si usted está de acuerdo, coméntelo ahí. Bueno, ¿qué más? No hay mucho más que hablar de esto, de este partido, así que vamos a la... Vamos a la encuesta de los gerentes. Bueno, acá tengo la hojita, aquí tengo la hojita. Hoy día quería hacer este capítulo, así que vamos para después subirlo ahí a los videos. Bueno, vamos a la encuesta de los gerentes. Pero dejen poner el banner ahí para después acordarme dónde. Dejen poner aquí. Encuesta. Aquí está. Ahora sí la ponen el banner ahí para después no tener problemas con. Aquí está. Encuesta de gerentes. Diablo, me falta la música. Bueno, algo faltaba, bueno. Algo faltaba. Ahora sí, está sonando bien. Se me había olvidado poner la musiquita, pues, weón. Ahora sí, vamos a ver. Esta es la encuesta de los GMs de este año. Se ha venido haciendo esta encuesta por 22 años, si no me equivoco. ¿Qué equipo, dejen bajarlo un poco? ¿Qué equipo va a ganar la final del 2024? Bueno, los gerentes votaron, que también hay que decir ahí, lo más probable es que los gerentes tengan a alguien que realicen esta encuesta. Bueno, ¿cuál es una de las principales características o más que nada características como de las principales cosas que tienes que cumplir de los, ¿cómo se dice? Requisitos. El único requisito es que no puedes votar por tu equipo o personal de tu equipo. Si eres de Denver, si eres el gerente de Denver, no puedes votar por Jokic, ni Michael Malone, ni Jamal Murray. Tienes que votar por los otros equipos. Eso hay que dejarlo claro. ¿Qué equipo va a ganar la final del 2024? Los gerentes estuvieron a Boston empatado con Denver. Denver y Boston 33%. Ambos equipos 33%. Milwaukee Bucks 23%. Phoenix Suns, los gerentes le dieron un 7% de posibilidades de ganar el título. Los Clippers, 3%. En serio, weón. ¿Quién aún confía en los Clippers? Bueno, ese es un tema aparte, weón. Conferencia del Este. Aquí tengo la estadística impresa ahí. Conferencia del Este. El equipo que tiene más posibilidades, Boston, 34%. Milwaukee, 33%. Cleveland tercero, 11%. Filadelfia, 8%. No sé por qué aún ponen a Filadelfia, bueno. Nueva York, 7%. Miami, 6%. Atlanta, 0. 0 posibilidades. Lo mismo de Trey Young diciendo, cuando gane un campeonato la gente me va a respetar a la cresta, weón. El año pasado, el 72% escogió a Milwaukee para ganar el este, como yo también. y me guayé y ya empecé a desconfiar de Milwaukee, weón. Si Milwaukee no llega a final este año, no hay que reventarlos, pero hay que algo hacer ahí, weón. Brook López al carajo, weón. Weón, si este año no llega Milwaukee a finales de conferencia, o sea, perdón, a Brook López no lo quiero ver más en el equipo. Nunca más. A Tanasi Antetokounmpo, pa'l carajo, weón. A todos esos buenos muertos hay que sacarlo, weón. A todos esos buenos muertos, weón. Equipos de la conferencia del oeste. Denver lo tienen como favorito para ganar la conferencia del este. Vamos, weón. 35% para Denver. Phoenix, 26%. Los Lakers, 15%. Golden State, 11%. Los Clippers, 7%. Memphis, 3%. ¿Quién piensa que Memphis puede ganar un título, weón? Pero bueno, weón. New Orleans, 1%. Sacramento, 1%. Dallas, 1%. Y Oklahoma, 0%. ¿Qué hace Memphis ahí? ¿Qué hace New Orleans ahí? ¿Qué hace Sacramento ahí? ¿Qué hace Dallas ahí, weón? Bueno, Sacramento quizás podemos creer un poco más en ellos, pero ¿qué hacen ahí, weón? Bueno, pasemos a la siguiente estadística. Jugadores, ¿quién va a ganar el MVP este año? Nikola Jokic, 43%. Giannis, 20%. Jason Tatum, 13%. Luka, 10%. También recibieron votos de AD, KD, Joel Embiid, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. ¿Quién votó por KD, weón? Estos fanáticos culeados, weón. ¿Quién cree que Anthony Davis puede ganar un MVP? ¿Quién cree que Kevin Durant puede ganar un MVP, weón? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander lo entiendo. Joel Embiid lo entiendo. Pero esos otros nombres no, weón. Dice, si tú pudieses comenzar una franquicia hoy día y poder firmar a cualquier jugador en la NBA, ¿a quién sería? Nikola Jokic, número 1. Number 1, número 1. Víctor Wembanyama, número 2. Aquí ya tengo un problema. Aquí yo tengo un problema. Cada uno es libre de la opinión que tenga. ¿Quién carajo pone a Víctor Wembanyama para iniciar su franquicia actualmente de todos los jugadores que está en la NBA sin Víctor Wembanyama haber jugado un partido en la regular, weón? Los novatos no pueden entrar en esta categoría, salvo que seas, weón. Obviamente sabíamos que LeBron iba a dar crédito, iba a dar rédito, pero ponerlo segundo detrás de Jokic a Wembanyama para tomarlo como jugador franquicia hoy día, obviamente a Wembanyama le queda mucho más tiempo en el futuro, pero sabemos lo que va a hacer Wembanyama, sabemos si no se va a lesionar, no sabemos, pero me parece un chiste que lo pongan segundo, weón. Por eso, como dije, hay que ir lento con Wembanyama, lento, weón. Es mejor superar las expectativas que en vez de poner una expectativa muy alta y apenas cumplirla o bajarla, weón. Pero bueno, segundo Wembanyama, un chiste. No se olviden también en esta encuesta, Karl Anthony Towns estuvo hace un par de años como el número 1, un chiste también, una estupidez. Bueno, vimos el 2017-18 ponían a Karl Anthony Towns para empezar tu franquicia. ¿Dónde está ahora? Trajeron a Gobert, trajeron a Anthony Edwards, ¿y a dónde está Karl Anthony Towns? En ningún lado. Giannis, tercero de los jugadores que escogerías para iniciar tu franquicia el día de hoy. Para mí Giannis tiene que ser segundo. Creo que una falta de respeto poner a Wembanyama por encima de Giannis, pero bueno. Luka Doncic, cuarto, se entiende. Luka, una bestia. Anthony Edwards, séptimo. Anthony Edwards. Estos son los 5 jugadores que los gerentes tomaron para iniciar su franquicia el día de hoy. Jokic, número 1. Wembanyama, Giannis, Luka, Anthony Edwards. Buenos nombres. Me gustan estos nombres porque no vemos nombres de buenos viejos y buenos dinosaurios, weón, que hay que estarlo cuidando durante la regular, que hay que darle descanso durante los back-to-back. Una mierda, hay que sacar a esos viejos y a esos dinosaurios de la liga, weón. ¿A qué me refiero de sacarlos de la liga? Porque los buenos van a seguir jugando. Nosotros no darle la importancia, weón. Nosotros no resaltar esos muertos, weón. Curry también recibió votos, lo cual me parece un chiste. Con todo el respeto a los fanáticos de Warriors, con todo el respeto a Stephen Curry, con 35 años, el decir que alguien va a tomar a Stephen Curry a los 35 años para iniciar tu franquicia, quizás lo entiendo para iniciar tu franquicia si estás tanqueando. No puedes escoger a Curry si quieres ganar con 35 años, weón. No puedes, weón. Joel Embiid también recibió votos. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander recibió votos. Jason Tatum, debería estar Jason Tatum por encima de Víctor Wembanyama, weón. Esos son los nombres, weón. Pero bueno, ¿qué jugador fuerza a los coaches opuestos a hacer la mayor cantidad de ajustes? Stephen Curry, número 1. Creo que ahí no hay discusión ahí. La presión que pone y la gravedad que tiene Curry del triple y todo su juego está a otro nivel y hace que los entrenadores opuestos, visitantes, hagan más ajustes. Segundo, Nikola Jokic. Tercero, Giannis. Cuarto, Luka. Quinto, Joel Embiid. Bueno, Joel Embiid ahora es gringo, así que a la mierda Joel Embiid, weón. Pero tenemos 3 jugadores internacionales aquí en la categoría de forzar a hacer más ajustes a los entrenadores rivales. Vamos al siguiente equipo, a la siguiente estadística. ¿Qué jugador es más probable que tenga una temporada donde la rompa o donde salte digamos, al éxito? Anthony Edwards, número 1. Kate Cunningham, en serio, weón. Bueno, apenas se pudo mantener sano el año pasado y decimos que ahora va a tener una gran temporada, weón, en serio, weón. Pero bueno, weón. Franz Wagner, ahí sí, para los que nos vienen siguiendo, saben que hemos estado hablando de Franz Wagner. Habían algunos que decían que Kuminga era mejor que Franz Wagner. Pero bueno, weón. Banquero, lo dije, weón, Banquero, el Magic, hay que poner un ojo ahí en Banquero y en Franz Wagner. Yo tengo a Franz Wagner como el jugador de más progreso, weón. Si el muerto de DeAndre Ayton, algunos esperan que pase de 18 a 20 puntos, 21, ¿por qué Franz Wagner no puede pasar de 18 a 22, 23, weón? Pues para mí lo tengo ahí, jugador de más progreso, Franz Wagner. Número 5, Tyrese Maxey, de los jugadores que pueden dar un salto esta temporada. También recibió Desmond Bane, Bridges, Haliburton, Chet Holmgren, Kyrie. ¿Qué hace Kyrie, weón? Kyrie va a tener una temporada como extraordinaria, weón, de la nada, weón. No, weón. Jaden McDaniel, Evan Mobley, Alperen Sengun. Ahí sí, lo mismo. Se empiezan a repetir un poquito los nombres que he venido mencionando de los jugadores jóvenes, ¿se acuerdan? Banquero, Sengun, Mobley, ¿quién más estaba ahí? Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Franz Wagner. Esos son los jugadores jóvenes que estoy viendo y que me gustan, weón. Verlos jugar, weón. Zion Williamson, en serio, weón. En serio, weón. ¿Quién es el mejor point guard en la NBA? Ahora vamos por posición. ¿Quién es el mejor point guard en la NBA? Stephen Curry, número 1. Luka Doncic, número 2. Yo pondría a Luka por encima. No hay mucha diferencia. Quizás Luka es un poquito mejor que Curry, pero creo que Luka ya hay que darle el crédito, weón. Luka, segundo. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, tercero. Damian Lillard, cuarto. Damian Lillard, cuarto mejor point guard de la NBA. Bueno, ¿quién es el mejor shooting guard de la NBA? Devin Booker. Yo también lo dije. ¿Se acuerdan del video que subí? Lo dije. Los 5 mejores jugadores por posición son Luka, Booker, Tatum, Giannis, Nikola Jokic. Luka, Booker, Tatum, Giannis, Joker. Los 5 mejores jugadores de la liga, sin lugar a dudas. O sea, por posición, no los 5 mejores. 5 mejores jugadores por posición. ¿Quién es el mejor shooting guard en la NBA? Devin Booker, 63%, el mismo porcentaje que consiguió Curry para el point guard. Número 2, Curry como escolta. Decídanse, weón. Decídanse, o Curry es escolta o point guard. No lo pongan en las dos posiciones. Lo mismo que con Luka. O Luka es point guard o es escolta. No lo pongan. Luka nunca va a ser escolta, weón. Quizás Curry pueda hacer las dos cosas, pero Luka jamás va a ser un escolta. Jamás, weón. Es un point guard, weón. Anthony Edwards, tercero, o sea, cuarto. Después viene Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Lo mismo, Shai es un poco más complicado. Pero Shai tampoco es un escolta, weón. O lo que yo creo. Vamos a la siguiente encuesta. Dice, ¿quién es el mejor small forward? ¿Quién es el mejor alero? Jason Tatum, 47%. Después KD. Después Luka. Bueno, Luka está en point guard, escolta, small forward, diablo, weón. Cuarto, LeBron James. En serio, weón. Quinto, Kawhi. ¿Quién es el mejor power forward de la NBA? Giannis Antetokounmpo, 97%. 97%. No hay competencia. Segundo, Kevin Durant. Bueno, no debería haber nadie, weón. El único point guard, o sea, el único power forward de la NBA, Giannis, weón. ¿Quién es el mejor centro? Nikola Jokic, 93%. Nada más y nada menos que Nikola Jokic. Y ambos jugadores el año pasado ya habían recibido ese reconocimiento de ser los mejores en su posición. Y lo mismo, ya me imagino que la mafia de Filadelfia y los seguidores de Joel Embiid ya se dieron cuenta que no hay competencia entre Joel Embiid y el Joker, ¿no? Joker está en Saturno, está en la Vía Láctea, weón, y Joel Embiid está aquí en la Tierra, weón. No hay competencia, weón. Gran defensor Joel Embiid, mucho se habla de eso. Saludos a todos. Mucho se habla de eso. Dice, highest percentage of total votes On position questions. Bueno, dice el porcentaje más alto de los votos totales en las preguntas de posición. Giannis, 19%. Joker, 18%. Curry, 14%. Devin Booker, 12%. Luka Doncic, 10%. Y Tatum, 10 también. Lo mismo, no es casualidad que se repitan esos nombres que les dije. Giannis, Nikola Jokic, Devin Booker, Luka, Tatum. Hay que incluir a Curry ahí. Curry, sin lugar a dudas, es un top 5 de la liga. Sin lugar a dudas, top 5. Movimientos de la pretemporada. ¿Qué equipo hizo los mejores movimientos esta pretemporada? Boston Celtics. Drew Holiday por Porzingis, 23%. Segundo, Milwaukee Bucks, 23%, con Lillard ahí. Tercero, los Blazers. Los Blazers, bueno, trajeron a Scoot Henderson, trajeron a DeAndre Ayton, trajeron a Malcolm Brogdon, trajeron a Robert Williams, que el otro día mi hermano, el Damian, weón, no sabía, weón, puta, weón. No sabía que habían cambiado a Robert Williams, weón. Después los Lakers. ¿A quién trajeron los Lakers? A 6 jugadores de rol que no sé cómo lo van a incluir. Dallas Mavericks. ¿A quién trajo Dallas? A Grant Williams. Quinto, Houston Rockets. Dice, ¿qué adquisición, qué jugador va a causar el mayor impacto llegando a este nuevo equipo? Damian Lillard, 47%. Drew Holiday, 13%. Bradley Beal, 10%. Porzingis, 7%. Van Vliet, con 7%. Y Wembanyama, 7%. Dice, ¿cuál es la adquisición de jugador menos hablada o menos se discute? Marcus Smart a Memphis, 17%. Grant Williams a Dallas, 14%. Dillon Brooks a Houston, 7%. Después viene Bruce Brown, Nurkic, Max Strus, Fred VanVleet. Dice, ¿qué equipo va a mejorar más en el 2023-2024? Oklahoma, 30%. Les dije también, yo los tengo mínimo sexto en los playoffs. Van a entrar a playoffs sin necesidad del play-in. Oklahoma City Thunder. Houston Rockets, segundo. Después Dallas, Detroit y Orlando. Por ahí se ve más o menos. Dice, ¿cuál fue el movimiento que más sorprendió en la temporada muerta? Holiday, Lillard, el cambio de Holiday y Lillard, 43%. Después viene el cambio de Porzingis por Smart, Chris Paul a Golden State, Bradley Beal a Phoenix y Bruce Brown a Indiana. Bruce Brown, muy bueno. No, creo que no se hablará tanto de Bruce Brown como se habló esta temporada muerta, güey. Bueno, rookies y jugadores internacionales. ¿Quién va a ganar el novato del año el 2023-2024? Wembanyama, 50%. Yo tengo a Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson, segundo, 27%. Después viene la flaca Holgren, 20%. Sacha Bezenkov, lo tienen ahí. Lo mismo, lo mencioné con los Sacramento Kings. Lo tienen cuarto para ganar el novato del año. Sabemos que es viejo, pero es su primer año en la NBA. ¿Qué novato? Dice, ¿qué novato va a ser el mejor en 5 años? Wembanyama, número 1. Creo que en esta no hay discusión que Wembanyama en 5 años más va a ser el mejor. Después de eso, recibieron votos de otros jugadores también. Dice, ¿cuál va a ser el mayor robo de los rookies? Cam Whitmore, el 20, a los Houston. Como dije, para mí Cam Whitmore era cuarto en el draft que hice yo. Lo tenía cuarto, weón. O quinto, si no me equivoco. Cam Whitmore va a ser el robo más grande de este año, dice. Segundo, Keontae George. Hablamos de él, el rookie que mejor lució o más sólido jugó en la liga de verano. Scoot Henderson, tercero. Jaime Jaques, cuarto. Y quinto, Brandon Popsiemski. ¿Cómo le pusimos? El Colorado, weón. El Colorado de Warriors, weón. Jugador sólido. Para lo que se espera de él, obviamente, no va a ayudar a ganar un campeonato o sea, él no va a ser la pieza que vaya a cambiar a Warriors para ganar un campeonato, pero puede aportar. Y hay que ver ahí que los Warriors no tienen mucha paciencia con los jugadores jóvenes. ¿Quién es el mejor jugador internacional en la NBA? Primero que nada, ¿por qué mierda ponen a Joel Embiid ahí? ¿Qué carajo hace Joel Embiid ahí? Joel Embiid es un gitano. ¿Por qué mierda hace Joel Embiid ahí? Lo mismo cuando la gente dice, oh no, el mejor jugador internacional es Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon es gringo, weón. Por más que haya nacido en Nigeria, es gringo Hakeem Olajuwon. Lo mismo que Joel Embiid. Saquémoslo de esta lista de mierda. De hecho, si tuviese aquí tengo un lápiz, weón, voy a rayar el nombre de Embiid, weón. ¿Qué hace ese weón ahí, weón? Ese weón no es gringo, weón. No, weón, no es gringo, weón. Y ya venía dejando, es mejor que deje mal a los gringos que deje mal a los jugadores internacionales. Así que váyase para el carajo, weón. ¿Quién es el mejor jugador internacional en la NBA? Nikola Jokic, 80%. Número 1, number 1. Número 2, Luka. Número 3, Giannis. Bueno, tienen a Luka mejor que Giannis. Y eso que yo apoyo a Luka, pero Luka no es mejor que Giannis, weón. Punto, weón. Punto. ¿Quién es el mejor jugador internacional que no está en la NBA? Nikola Mirotic, que fue el que recibió un golpe Bobby Portis. Eddie Tavares, el centro del Real Madrid. Alex Sarr, jugador francés, va a estar disponible, si no me equivoco, para el siguiente draft. Vamos a estar hablando de él también ahí cuando venga esa temporada. Dazan Musa, no sé quién carajo es. Y William Hernán Gómez, el hermano de Bo Cruz, que dijo, oh, no me gusta que me llamen Bo Cruz. Ándate a la cresta, weón. Estos weones quieren la plata, quieren reconocimiento, quieren fanáticos, quieren fama, weón. Y quieren pedirle que la gente los trate como ellos quieren. No, weón, no, weón, no. Defensa. ¿Quién es el mejor defensivo el mejor jugador defensivo en la NBA? Giannis, 40%. No sé, pero un buen nombre. Segundo, Drew Holiday, 13%. Después Draymond, Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson, Kawhi Leonard. ¿Qué hace Kawhi Leonard ahí, weón? Con todo el respeto a Kawhi, ¿qué hace Kawhi Leonard ahí entre los mejores defensores, weón? ¿Qué hace ahí? También recibió votos Caruso, Anthony Davis, Lou Dort y Rudy Gobert. Aquí también estuve viendo un podcast que la gente, hay unos fanáticos de Lakers que decían, oh, le están faltando el respeto a AD. ¿No vieron lo que hizo AD en los playoffs pasados? Sí, AD fue el mejor defensor de los playoffs pasados, pero ¿cuánta constancia muestra en los últimos años, weón? Y lo mismo, todo el trabajo que tiene que hacer AD en defensa, weón. Más encima que el muerto de Darvin Ham le pide que lance 6 triples por partido, weón, cuando AD lo máximo que ha lanzado son casi 4, weón. Y es uno de los peores tripleros en la historia de la NBA. Eso es lo otro. La gente se ríe mucho de Giannis y que es un horrible triplero, que eso es verdad, eso no hay cómo discutirlo. O Giannis es manco de triple, pero igual de manco es Anthony Davis, si nos vamos por los porcentajes, igual de manco. Como dije, estamos un poco distorsionados con lo de AD, con lo que hizo la burbuja y ese tiro del triple contra Denver. Muerto AD, muerto. Wade también está en esa lista de los peores tripleros de la NBA, puros jugadores mancos, weón. Manco Capac. ¿Quién es el mejor defensor perimetral? Drew Holiday. No hay lugar a duda ahí, aunque lo cocinó Jimmy, pero Jimmy es un caballo. Michael Bridges. No voy a decir que se está empezando a sobrevalorar Michael Bridges, pero creo que hay que ver que haga más cosas primero, weón. El año pasado promedió 25, pero hay que ver más, hay que tener más video en eso. Alex Caruso, tercero, Marcus Smart, cuarto, Kawhi, quinto. Bueno, ¿por qué? Bueno, estoy equivocado yo o comenten ustedes, ¿por qué Kawhi sigue apareciendo en las mejores listas de los defensores, weón? En tan mal posición está la NBA que hay que poner a Kawhi como uno de los mejores defensores, weón, o le están dando este reconocimiento por lo que hizo en el pasado, weón, por reputación. ¿Quién es el mejor defensor interior en la NBA? Jaren Jackson, número 1. Gobert, Brook López, Anthony Davis. ¿Es Brook López mejor que Anthony Davis defendiendo el interior? No, para mí no. ¿Es mejor Rudy Gobert que Anthony Davis defendiendo el interior? Para mí no. ¿Es mejor Jaren Jackson que AD? Parejo, pero me llama la atención que AD esté tan bajo, weón. Draymond Green, cuarto. En serio, weón. En serio, Draymond Green es el cuarto mejor defensor interior en la liga, weón. En serio, weón. Giannis, sexto. Después viene Mobley. ¿Quién es el defensor más versátil en la NBA? Giannis, número 1. Draymond Green, número 2. Bueno, lo mismo que con Draymond. ¿Cuál le están dando estos premios a Draymond? ¿O se habla de Draymond por el defensor que ganó hace un par de años y por esas cosas? ¿O yo quizás tengo distorsionada la versión actual de Draymond defensivamente, pero no creo que esté dentro de los mejores defensores de la NBA? Bama Adebayo, tercero, perdón. ¿Quién es el defensor más versátil de la NBA? Giannis, Draymond, Adebayo, Michael Bridges, Jaren Jackson. Esos son los votos. ¿Quién es el mejor jugador defensivo en la NBA? ¿Quién es el mejor equipo defensivo en la NBA? Número 1, Boston. Número 2, Memphis. Número 3, Milwaukee. Número 4, Miami. Número 5, Cleveland. Bueno, los gerentes votaron a los 5 mejores equipos defensivos de la liga. 4 son del este. Boston, Milwaukee, Miami y Cleveland. Los entrenadores. ¿Quién es el mejor entrenador en la NBA? Eric Spoelstra. Después viene Tyronn Lue, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, Michael Malone. Le dieron al menos crédito un poco a Michael Malone, weón. Para mí el mejor entrenador, obviamente, Eric Spoelstra, y lo dije hace un tiempo también. ¿Quién es el mejor manejador o motivador de personas? Número 1, Eric Spoelstra, Steve Kerr, Tyronn Lue, Greg Popovich. Esos son. Dice, ¿quién es el entrenador que hace los mejores ajustes dentro del partido? Eric Spoelstra, número 1, sin lugar a dudas. Tyronn Lue, número 2, Rick Carlisle, número 3, Nick Nurse, número 4. Dice, ¿qué entrenador corre la mejor ofensiva? Mike Brown, número 1. Steve Kerr, número 2. Michael Malone, número 3. Lo mismo, fíjense. Esto también nos muestra un poquito sobre las conferencias. Los mejores equipos defensivos, Boston, Milwaukee, Miami, Cleveland. Los mejores ofensivos, Mike Brown de Sacramento, Steve Kerr de Golden State, Michael Malone de Denver, Chris Finch de Minnesota, Rick Carlisle es como el primero del oeste, el quinto. Dice, ¿quién tiene los mejores planteamientos defensivos como entrenador? Eric Spoelstra, weón, uno de los mejores entrenadores en la historia de la NBA. El mejor actual, pero uno de los mejores en la historia de la NBA, weón. Taylor Jenkins, número 2. Tom Thibodeau, número 3. J.B. Bickerstaff, Tyronn Lue, Frank Vogel. Dice, ¿cuál nuevo entrenador va a hacer el mayor impacto en su nuevo equipo? Ime Udoka, número 1. Puede ser eso obviamente. Monty Williams, número 2. Frank Vogel, número 3. Adrian Griffin, número 4. Y Darko Rajakovic, que si no me equivoco, el único entrenador europeo en la NBA. ¿Quién es el mejor asistente técnico en la NBA? Jordi Fernández en Sacramento. Terry Stotts en Milwaukee, que estaba antes con el ex entrenador de Lillard. Kevin John de Phoenix, no lo conozco. Sam Cassell de Boston, obviamente Sam Cassell. Y Charles Lee de Boston. Dice, ¿qué entrenador activo, qué jugador activo va a ser el mejor entrenador en el futuro? Chris Paul, número 1. Mike Conley, número 2. Garrett Temple, número 3. TJ McConnell, Drew Holiday, Fred VanVleet. Y ahora vienen cosas mezcladas. Dice, ¿cuál va a ser el equipo más divertido para ver? Denver Nuggets, número 1. Golden State, número 2. Número 3, Sacramento Kings. Número 4, Phoenix. Lo mismo, los 4 equipos del oeste. Nuggets, Warriors, Sacramento y Phoenix. Los más divertidos, digamos, o los que más te van a dar diversión verlos. ¿Qué equipo va a tener la mejor ventaja de localía? Denver Nuggets, número 1. Ahí está, los Nuggets. Golden State Warriors, 17, porque sabemos que los Warriors el año pasado fue un asco en la carretera. Sacramento, número 3. Utah, 4. Boston, Nueva York, Toronto y Filadelfia, los mejores equipos que van a tener ventaja de localidad. Dice, ¿qué equipo va a tener la ofensiva más eficiente esta temporada? Como lo dije también, año tras año, hemos visto que se rompen los récords de rating ofensivo. Denver, número 1, la ofensiva más efectiva. Y muchos aún nos siguen confiando, weón. ¿Será que no ven a Denver, weón? Pero bueno. Número 2, Sacramento, de la ofensiva más eficiente. Número 3, Warriors. Número 4, Boston. 5, Milwaukee. 6, Phoenix. Lo mismo, varios equipos del oeste. Dice, ¿qué equipo va a ser más difícil pronosticar su éxito? Filadelfia, número 1. Por eso lo dije el otro día cuando un brother me dijo lo de Filadelfia, que iba a estar peleando arriba. ¿En serio, weón? Y aquí los gerentes lo dicen, el equipo más difícil de predecir el éxito va a ser Filadelfia. Segundo, Dallas, de acuerdo con eso. Oklahoma, tercero, también ahí. New Orleans, cuarto. Phoenix, quinto. Y los Clippers, sexto. Dice, ¿qué equipo tiene el mejor núcleo de jugadores jóvenes? Oklahoma, número 1, sin lugar a dudas. Cleveland Cavaliers, también ahí, con Mobley, con Garland, con Jared Allen y Orlando. Vengo hablando también mucho de Orlando, Wagner y Banquero principalmente. Y Anthony Black, que fue el novato de este año que cogió Orlando. ¿Cuál es el jugador más atlético de la NBA? Ja Morant. ¿Es Ja Morant más atlético que Giannis? ¿Es Ja Morant más atlético que Anthony Edwards? ¿Es Ja Morant más atlético que Zion? Esos fueron los 4 jugadores más atléticos. Primero Ja Morant, después Giannis, después Anthony Edwards y después Zion Williamson. Ese deja un poco que desear. ¿Qué jugador es el mejor lanzador puro? Stephen Curry, 90%. Eso no hay discusión. No hay discusión, güey. ¿Qué jugador es el más rápido con el balón en sus manos? De'Aaron Fox, Ja Morant. O sea, lo mismo. Ya, y aquí viene esta es la otra pregunta. Ahí voy a hablar después del otro. ¿Cuál es el jugador que se mueve mejor sin el balón? Número 1, Stephen Curry, sin lugar a dudas. Número 2, Mikal Bridges. En serio, weón. ¿Se fijan lo que dije antes también? Dice, weón, tus expectativas sobre la actuación de Wembanyama. Ya hablamos de eso, pues, weón. Espérame, weón. Segundo, dicen que Mikal Bridges es el segundo mejor jugador que se mueve sin el balón. No sé, quizás no estoy viendo mucho a Mikal Bridges o los Brooklyn Nets. Klay Thompson, tercero. Puede ser. Chris Middleton, cuarto. Para nada, weón. No me hace sentido eso de Chris Middleton. ¿Quién es el mejor pasador de la liga? ¿Se acuerdan quién les dije yo que era? Nikola Jokic, y aquí los gerentes lo votan. 67% de los gerentes creen que Nikola Jokic es el mejor pasador de la liga. Y lo venimos diciendo hace tiempo. Lo venimos diciendo. Pero bueno, esto nos valida un poquito de esa manera. Segundo, Luka Doncic. Tercero, LeBron James. Nombre muy, muy bueno y el IQ muy alto. ¿Quién es el mejor líder? LeBron James. ¿En serio, weón? ¿En serio me están diciendo que LeBron es el mejor líder, weón? ¿En serio, weón? Pero bueno, no voy a decir nada más de eso. Segundo, Curry. Curry también ahí es un líder. Pero cuando pasó lo de Jordan Poole, ¿qué hizo Curry? Cuando Draymond le puso una patada, le pegó ahí a LeBron en los cocos y salió suspendido, ¿qué hizo Curry? Curry también ahí como que se la lleva un poco fácil desde el liderazgo. No es que Draymond sea el líder, pero tiene una personalidad fuerte, como que a veces los líderes con personalidad un poco más introvertida lo pasan, no es lo mismo, como lo de Kawhi y otros jugadores. Tercero, Jokic, sin lugar a dudas. Jimmy, cuarto, Yo me atrevería a decir que Jimmy Butler es el mejor líder en la NBA. Jimmy Butler es el mejor líder en la NBA. No sé ustedes. Damian Lillard. ¿Qué hace Damian Lillard ahí? Una vergüenza, un asco, weón. Un asco poner ahí abajo de Jimmy Butler a Damian Lillard como uno de los mejores líderes de la NBA, weón. Chris Paul también está ahí. Puede ser lo de Chris Paul, pero bueno, weón. ¿Quién es el jugador más versátil en la NBA? Giannis, número 1. LeBron, número 2. Kevin Durant, número 3. ¿En serio, weón? ¿Y a dónde está Jokic, weón? Que rebotea, asiste, anota. ¿Qué hace Kevin Durant? ¿Qué vuelve versátil a Kevin Durant? ¿Anotar el balón? ¿Qué más hace Kevin Durant? Nada. ¿Qué hace LeBron? Anota puntos porque es el jugador que más toma tiros en la liga por partido. Hay que decirlo ahí. Anota puntos porque es el jugador que toma más tiros en la NBA. Rebotea. Asiste muy bien. Pero más versátil, weón. ¿En serio, weón? ¿En serio, weón? ¿Quién es el jugador con el IQ más alto en la NBA? Nikola Jokic, número 1, 50%. LeBron James, número 2. Hasta hace un tiempo siempre era LeBron. La pregunta es, ¿LeBron se volvió tonto o el Joker se volvió más inteligente? La dejo ahí. Chris Paul, número 3. Dice, ¿qué jugador te gustaría que tomara el tiro al final para decidir el partido, para ganarlo? Curry, número 1. ¿En serio, weón? Quizás si es del tiro libre. No sé, weón. Kevin Durant, número 2. ¿En serio, weón? Damian Lillard, tercero. Puede ser lo de Lillard con esto de que es clutch y que aquí, que allá y Dame time. Número 4, Jimmy. Número 5, Jokic. Un centro. Stephen Curry, guardia. Kevin Durant, alero. Damian Lillard, guardia. Jimmy Butler, alero o guardia. Nikola Jokic, centro. Y confían para tomar los tiros en el clutch. Dice, ¿qué cambio? La nueva regla, el torneo de mitad de temporada, algo del nuevo CBA, del contrato que se firmó, dice, va a requerir el mayor ajuste. ¿Qué cambio va a requerir el mayor ajuste del torneo, el torneo, la regla y todas esas cosas? Dice, la política de participación de los jugadores, que es lo que vimos de los descansos, que no pueden sentarse en los que no pueden sentarse 2 estrellas en el mismo partido y esas cosas. Las restricciones por el impuesto. Después viene el torneo de mitad de temporada, después viene la regla de los 65 partidos para jugar, los flops, la regla del flopping y al final el desafío extra para los entrenadores. Bueno, eso fue toda la encuesta de los gerentes. Saludos a todos. Bueno, vamos ahora. Brooklyn Nets. Vamos al análisis de los Brooklyn Nets. ¿Qué les parece los Brooklyn Nets? Coméntenme ahí. Bueno, hemos visto jugar a Ben Simmons y ustedes ya conocen mi opinión de Ben Simmons. No es un jugador de mi agrado. Preferiría no tener a nadie en vez de tener a Ben Simmons. Preferiría a un jugador de la G-League en vez de a Ben Simmons. Porque también lo veo como si me pasara a mí. Si me pasara a mí, no me gustaría tener personas a mi lado que tengan lástima o me digan, no, está todo bien, aquí está todo bien. No, weón. Que a veces también la generación actual es un poco diferente a eso. Como que falta un poco de rudeza, weón. Salir a decir, Ben Simmons eres una mierda, weón. No con esas palabras, pero... No, weón, no. ¿Qué más? Bueno, Brooklyn en los últimos años. ¿Qué podemos decir de Brooklyn en los últimos años? Se lo han pasado por el culo, digamos, a Brooklyn. Se lo pasaron por el culo cuando los Celtics lo timaron. a cambio de tener a Kevin Garnett y a Paul Pierce. Recibieron picks de primera ronda que se transformaron en Jaylen Brown, en Jason Tatum. Brooklyn siempre ha sido un equipo, antes eran New Jersey Nets, que habían llegado a finales, al menos con Jason Kidd y los demás, Kenyon Martin y Richard Jefferson, pero Brooklyn Nets es una franquicia, entre comillas, me reír, o como que se los pasan por el culo, como dije. Después de eso, ¿qué ha hecho Brooklyn Nets? Me acuerdo de esos equipos de Brooklyn Nets cuando estaba D'Angelo Russell y se enfrentaron a los Philadelphia 76ers y estaba quien más ahí en Brooklyn. Había un buen núcleo de jugadores jóvenes ahí en Brooklyn. Estaba también el entrenador Kenny Atkinson. ¿Se acuerdan cuando fueron a la burbuja? Esos jugadores de Brooklyn. Déjenme buscar ese equipo. ¿De cuándo fue ese equipo? ¿El 2019? Sí, fue el 2019. Déjenme buscar ese equipo. Me acuerdo de ese equipo pero no me acuerdo tanto de los nombres. Jared Dudley, ¿se acuerdan de Jared Dudley que estaba ahí en Brooklyn? No, en Filadelfia. No, en Brooklyn, porque se enfrentó a Ben Simmons con Filadelfia. Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Dudley, como les dije, Kenneth Farid, Joe Harris, Rondé Holland Jefferson, que está jugando ahí para mi equipo del BCN, los Atléticos de San Germán. Jugó también para Jordania en el Mundial. Caris LeVert, Theo Pinson, D'Angelo Russell. De ese equipo me acordaba. Bueno, después de ese equipo, que estaba siendo dirigido por Kenny Atkinson, al siguiente año entra Jack Vaughn. Y al equipo llega Kyrie Irving. Llega también... No veo a Kevin Durant acá. Diablo, no lo veo. ¿Será porque no jugó ese año Kevin Durant? Sí, porque en el 2020 Kevin Durant ya no estaba en los Warriors. Estaba en Brooklyn, pero estaba lesionado. Bueno, sacaron a Kenny Atkinson, trajeron a Jack Vaughn. Kyrie Irving salió con las loqueras de que quería hacer su propia liga, que esto y lo otro, la burbuja. Kevin Durant se estaba rehabilitando del Aquiles. Después del siguiente año, 2021. ¿Quién llegó el 2021? Ahí ya estaban todos los jugadores, los viejos, weón. Iman Champer, Landry Shamet, LeVert, Kyrie, Harry, Harden, bueno, tanto eso, bueno, que están aquí obviamente ordenados porque los cambiaron después, LaMarcus Aldridge, Bruce Brown, Claxton, Jeff Green, Blake Griffin, Mike James. Bueno, los Brooklyn Nets, lo más cercano al éxito que han tenido fue cuando Kevin Durant tuvo esa gran serie contra Milwaukee, donde puso el pie en la línea y no estaba un poco más atrás para ganar el partido. Como lo expliqué el otro día, mucho se habla, ¿qué hubiese pasado si KD no ponía el pie ahí? Como dije, Harden estaba lesionado, Kyrie Irving no iba a volver a los playoffs, y con ese equipo ustedes me están diciendo que Kevin Durant iba a ganar. Bueno, más allá de eso, es el máximo éxito que han tenido en los playoffs. Hay un comentario por ahí, dijo, corrijo, la Jimmy Butlers. ¿Expectativa de qué, hermano? ¿De qué? Bueno, después ese fue lo más cercano que han podido estar al éxito. Todos creíamos que iban a llegar lejos con James Harden, con Kyrie, con Kevin Durant. Después de eso ya empezaron las loqueras también de Kyrie de no querer vacunarse. Lo de Harden con las loqueras, de estar lesionado, KD también, esto y lo otro. Ya era hora de explotar ese equipo como se explotó el Utah Jazz, como hay que explotar a los Clippers, como hay que explotar a Filadelfia también. Son equipos que ya cumplen su ciclo. Pero, en este caso, Brooklyn, lo que al menos después pudo salir de Kyrie Irving, lo mandó a Dallas, salió de Kevin Durant, lo mandó a Phoenix, trajeron a Cam Johnson, trajeron a Mikal Bridges, trajeron a Spencer Dinwiddie. Si no me equivoco, vamos a ver el equipo de ahora de este año. El equipo de ahora, Cam Johnson, Darius Bazley, Lonnie Walker, Dennis Smith Jr., Ben Simmons. ¿Verdad? Bueno, ¿verdad que trajeron a Ben Simmons, weón? No, weón. Nicholas Claxton, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges, Spencer Dinwiddie y Royce O'Neal. Hay un poco de redundancia en este equipo, weón. Lonnie Walker con Dennis Smith Jr., Royce O'Neal con Dorian Finney-Smith. Bueno, y Cam Thomas. Hay redundancia en el equipo con Cam Thomas, Dennis Smith Jr. y Lonnie Walker. 3 guardias pequeñísimos, weón. Pequeñísimos. Pero bueno, ahora en el equipo también está Jack Vaughn, un entrenador serio. Sabe manejar muy bien a los jugadores. Pero ¿qué expectativa hay para este equipo de Brooklyn, weón? ¿Qué expectativa hay para este equipo de Brooklyn en verdad? Si nos ponemos a ver, veamos aquí. ¿Quién es el jugador más importante de los Brooklyn Nets? ¿Quién es el jugador más importante? Michael Bridges, sin lugar a dudas. ¿Quién es el líder de este equipo? No hay líder. No es Ben Simmons, no es Michael Bridges, no es Cam Johnson, es Jack Vaughn. Jack Vaughn es el entrenador, es el líder de este equipo. ¿Qué más? Bueno, vamos a ver el espacio salarial de Brooklyn, a ver. Dejen ahí sus comentarios. Saludos a todos, saludos a Ángel y a Dani Mateo ahí. No se olviden dejar sus comentarios. ¿Qué les parece lo de Brooklyn? ¿Qué les parece lo de Brooklyn? Ahora sí, ahora sí. Ahora sí vamos a terminar de hablar ahí lo de Brooklyn. Este es el espacio salarial, lo que tienen que pagarle al equipo. No, ahora me equivoqué, Boston Celtics. Aquí está, Brooklyn. Ben Simmons es el mejor jugador pagado de Brooklyn. Ben Simmons es el mejor jugador pagado de Brooklyn. Yo no puedo tener paciencia con este tipo de jugadores, weón. No puedo, weón. Cam Johnson, 25 millones. Michael Bridges, 21 millones. Muy buen contrato ese de Michael Bridges, weón. Muy buen contrato. Spencer Dinwiddie, 20 millones. Finney Smith, 13. Después viene Claxton, O'Neal y vienen los demás jugadores. Pero que Ben Simmons sea el mejor jugador, el jugador mejor pagado de esta plantilla, weón. Y que también hay que decir ahí, no porque a ti te estén pagando tanta plata como a Ben Simmons, como pasa también con Dak Prescott, para los que siguen la NFL. Dak Prescott es un asco, pero que también dice el dueño o el que le está pagando a Ben Simmons o a Dak Prescott, te estoy pagando 40, 37 millones, juega como si fuese un jugador de 37 o 40 millones. A veces también hay que tomar eso con las pinzas un poco. No porque alguien esté dispuesto a pagarte esa suma significa que tú vas a rendir de la misma manera. Eso hay que dejarlo bastante claro, pero no puedo creer que Ben Simmons es el jugador mejor pagado de este equipo. No puedo creerlo, güey. No puedo creerlo. ¿Quiénes son mis titulares? Si fuera por mí, Ben Simmons al banco. A la cresta, güey. Pero bueno, creo que va a ser titular Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, Cameron Johnson, Michael Bridges. Weón, Ben Simmons no tiene que jugar, weón. Estos son los titulares, weón. Nicholas Claxton, de centro. Después puedes poner a Finney Smith o Royce O'Neal, uno de los dos. Claxton, Finney Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, Cameron Johnson y Michael Bridges. Los Brooklyn Nets tienen que encontrar la forma de salir de Ben Simmons. No importando si te dan 2 bandejas de papa frita, no importando si te dan 3 bebidas de Coca-Cola cero, no importa, weón. Cualquier cosa que tú recibas a cambio de Ben Simmons va a ser más valioso que Ben Simmons. Y lo mismo, weón, si Ben Simmons tiene una buena temporada, lo vamos a reconocer. Si él tiene una gran temporada, lo vamos a decir aquí. Pero Ben Simmons él por sí solo no va a cambiar todo el panorama de Brooklyn, weón. Y le están pagando ese dinero, weón. Deben encontrar la forma de salir de Ben Simmons. Mandarlo a cualquier equipo a cambio de 2 papas fritas, 3 hamburguesas y 2 bebidas, weón. Con eso yo soy más que feliz cambiándolo por Ben Simmons. Pero bueno, eso creo que van a ser los titulares de este equipo. Spencer Dinwiddie, Cameron Johnson, Michael Bridges, Finney Smith y Claxton. Esa es una sólida alineación. No necesita a Ben Simmons en el equipo. Brooklyn Nets no necesita a Ben Simmons en el equipo. Punto. No vas a perder, no es que, ahí yo estoy exagerando, no es que vas a perder nada, pero no vas a perder 30 puntos, 15 rebotes o 10, 12 asistencias. No, weón. Ben Simmons, ándate al carajo. Y lo mismo, también de Ben Simmons debería tener decencia, weón, y quizás bajarse el sueldo o algo, weón. Pero eso nunca lo van a hacer, obviamente. Estas son cosas que nosotros hablamos aquí. Bueno, esos son mis jugadores titulares. De la banca, ¿quién vendría? Ben Simmons, Royce O'Neal, Finney Smith. Weón, a Ben Simmons hay que sacarlo, weón. La banca tiene que ser Royce O'Neal, Lonnie Walker, Cam Thomas, Darius Bazley. Eso debería ser la banca, weón. Ben Simmons no sé qué carajo están haciendo ahí y también y no es culpa de Ben Simmons que lo estén aguantando. La culpa es de los Brooklyn Nets. La culpa no es de Ben Simmons, la culpa es del que te aguanta. Ahí vamos a entrar a algo controversial también. Infidelidades de ambos lados, para que después no me digan que sexista ni nada, de ambos lados. Si tu pareja te engaña y tiene actitudes así desde hace tiempo y tú lo aguantas, ¿quién es el culpable? ¿La persona que está haciendo eso o tú? Bueno, ya dije, los titulares, la banca, el espacio salarial, el coach también hablamos de él, el historial hablamos de él, la proyección de victoria, difícil, weón. El jugador más importante, Michael Bridges, el líder creo que es Jack Vaughn. ¿Quiénes son los tripleros de este equipo? Los tripleros, Cam Johnson, más allá de eso. ¿Quién más, weón? Aparte de Cam Johnson, ¿quién es triplero en este equipo? Bueno, Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal, que lanzan de la esquina o lanzan ahí cuando están desmarcados, pero no hay triplero en este equipo. ¿Quién protege el aro? En este equipo? Nicholas Claxton, uno de los defensores más sólidos de la NBA. Nicholas Claxton. Después de eso, ¿qué otro jugador puede proteger el aro? Ninguno, weón, ninguno. ¿Qué más? Y también ahí, bueno, seguimos con lo de Ben Simmons. ¿Por qué Ben Simmons también dio esas declaraciones de que, no, yo quiero ser point guard? Porque lo mismo, no quiere que lo tiren a pelear con los Leones allá en el poste abajo. No quiere estar peleando ahí en las trincheras, quiere jugar facilito allá en el perímetro. Bueno, ¿qué más? ¿Qué jugador puede ser cambiado? Me imagino que con todo lo que he dicho ya se imaginan a quién pueden cambiar. ¿Quién puede dar un paso realmente adelante para sacar a este equipo un poco más allá de lo que estaba el año pasado? ¿Quién? Michael Bridges, dar un salto sustancial. Dice, hola Mario, dice expectativa de Nets que lleguen a playoff, nada más. Exacto. Muy buena forma de decirlo ahí, Jorge Huira, que saludo, hermano. Es así, weón. Es así lo que tienen que pensar los Brooklyn Nets. ¿Qué jugador puede dar un paso adelante? Un paso adelante para seguir aportando al equipo. Michael Bridges, más allá de eso, no veo mucho. ¿Qué jugador puede dar un paso atrás? O en términos de estadística, producción, o cosas que puedan pasar. Obviamente, Ben Simmons es el principal candidato. Después de eso, creo que Ben Simmons es el único jugador que puede dar un paso atrás en términos de producción o perjudicar al equipo literalmente. ¿Qué más? ¿Quién es el mejor anotador de este equipo? Bridges. ¿Quién es el mejor rebotero? Claxton. ¿Y quién tiene más asistencia? Dinwiddie. Vamos a ver aquí la estadística. Saludos a todos. Hoy día estuvimos hablando de los partidos de la pretemporada. Estuvimos hablando también de la encuesta de los gerentes. Dice Ben Simmons, tremendo. Ben Simmons, weón. Como dije, si yo fuese el GM, si yo fuese Sean Marks de los Brooklyn Nets y otro gerente me está ofreciendo 2 papas fritas, 3 hamburguesas y una bebida, feliz con eso, weón. Me conformo con eso, weón. Bueno, estas son las estadísticas del año pasado de Brooklyn. 2022, 2023. Sí, porque el año pasado aún... y eso es lo otro. ¿Por qué también Brooklyn entró o una de las razones por la cual entró Brooklyn a los playoffs el año pasado fue que Kevin Durant y Kyrie Irving consiguieron tener un colchón de victorias antes de irse cambiados. Si no me equivoco, cuando cambiaron a KD y a Kyrie Irving tenían ya 30 victorias. Mínimo 30 victorias ya tenían cuando los cambiaron. ¿Con cuánto terminó Brooklyn? Con 45. O sea, después de que cambiaron a KD y a Kyrie, ganaron 15 partidos. Con Kyrie y con KD ganaron 30. Atención ahí también con eso. Este año obviamente va a haber más cohesión del grupo y van a estar todos jugando desde el comienzo. Pero hay que decir algo también ahí. Por eso hay que ver qué pasa con los Brooklyn Nets. Bueno, vamos a ver la estadística. Michael Bridges, jugador tremendo jugador. Hay que darle mucho reconocimiento a los jugadores. Sean jugadores de rol o de complemento, hay que reconocer los que juegan 82 partidos, weón. Eso hay que darle un crédito tremendo, weón. Diablo, ahora no encuentro la estadística, weón. No, porque esto fue el año pasado. Ahora sí. Michael Bridges. ¿Dónde está Bridges? Bridges jugó 27 partidos. Jugó 27. Entonces ganaron menos partidos entonces Brooklyn, pues, weón. Royce O'Neal, 76 partidos, muy bien. Claxton, 76 partidos, muy bien. Joe Harris, que me parece que saludo a Joe Harris, si no está viendo que está allá en Detroit, weón. No, nadie sabe el paradero de Joe Harris. Seth Curry se fue a Dallas. Watanabe también se fue. Cam Thomas, 57 partidos. Sumner, Dayron Sharp, Ben Simmons. 42 partidos de Ben Simmons, weón. Michael Bridges, 27. Ese es un dato, hay que buscarlo, weón. ¿Cuándo cambiaron a Kevin Durant? Y hay que ver en ese momento cuál récord era el de Brooklyn y cuántos partidos ganaron después de eso. ¿Qué más nos toca por hablar aquí? Top 100, protector, líder, proyección de victorias. Creo que lo único que nos queda hablar de Brooklyn es la proyección de victorias. ¿Cuántos partidos pueden ganar este año? Yo me atrevería a decir unos 35, 37, por ahí. Dice, ¿viste lo que dijo Nowitzki de Harden? No vi, hermano. Voy a buscarlo ahora, ¿eh? Dice, para mí los jugadores que fuerzan su salida de los equipos no es el camino a seguir. ¿Eso? Estoy buscando acá. Saludos a todos. Tiren ahí sus preguntas. Ah, no, esto fue el 2022. Parece que no es nueva la noticia. Ah, que renunció, algo así. Dijo que era un quitter. Claro, que dice acá estoy viendo un video de Uncut Hoops. Pero creo que esa noticia ya es antigua. Porque no me sale acá ahora como que salió hace tiempo. Sí, creo que es antigua, weón. Voy a chequear eso. G-Mac! What's up, G-Mac? How you doing, bro? Shout out to G-Mac, man. Much respect, man. Much respect to G-Mac, man. Today I'm gonna do an interview, bro, with David Ramil from Locked On Heat. So I'll be asking him some things, you know. Dice, me pareció en el feed, entonces estoy dando jugo. No, tranquilo. Es una noticia antigua. Debe ser una noticia. Es verídica la noticia, pero es antigua. Hoy día voy a estar haciendo una entrevista con David Ramil, si es que se concreta. Ustedes saben, soy productor, animador, editor, gerente, ¿cómo se dice? Agendo lo entrevistado, recursos humanos, researcher, de todo, weón. Soy ¿cómo se dice? El Leonardo Farcas del YouTube, weón. De todo, produciendo, animando, editando, buscando info. Diablo, weón. El James Brown, como ustedes quieran decir, el James Brown del YouTube de básquetbol o el Leonardo Farcas del básquet, weón. Dice, I'm good, cool. I'm going on Player's Choice to cook people. Today, that's for sure, man. Shout out to G-Mac, man. We need more people like G-Mac, man. We need more people like G-Mac in the basketball discourse, man. Shout out to G-Mac, man. Hopefully we can have him in the future, man. It was a great fucking show we did like couple of weeks ago. Shout out to G-Mac, man. Así que hoy día vamos a estar ahí relatando. G-Mac, what do you think about the Brooklyn Nets? I can share the link, G-Mac, if you wanna jump in, bro. Same you too. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. Let me see if I can. Damn, I can. Let me see if I can drop the link, bro. I don't know if you can jump in, pero ahí está el link. There is the link. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody. Dice, sure. What's up, G-Mac? We here. Eso fue lo de Brooklyn. Así que déjenos ahí sus comentarios. ¿Qué les parece lo de Brooklyn? Mañana nos toca hablar de los New York Knicks. ¿Qué hay que hablar de Nueva York? Vamos a ver qué pasa. Saludos a todos, estamos aquí en vivo. Se ve buena la plataforma, weón. La plataforma se ve muy bien ahí con el fondo en movimiento, weón. Comenten ahí qué les parece este nuevo look del stream. Se ve bueno, weón, se ve bueno, weón. Así que hoy día vamos a estar ahí con Lockton NBA. Vamos a estar haciendo ahí una entrevista con David Ramil. Vamos a estar entrevistándolo 15, 20 minutitos. Tengo que encontrar si onda hacer la entrevista, weón. Quizás la voy a hacer aquí en mi casa nomás, en el auto, weón. Eso falta un estudio, weón. Pronto, falta poco. Ya vienen las bendiciones, weón. Pronto llega. Vamos a ver si está ahí G-Mac. Dejen ahí sus comentarios. ¿Qué les parece lo de los Brooklyn Nets? Dice Javier. Bueno, dice Michael Bridges is going to have his biggest version. Dice Michael Bridges is going to have his best version this year. And as the leader of that team, now he has to show that he is. Claro, él va a tener que mostrarlo, pero podemos decir que Bridges es el líder actual de Brooklyn, quizás el líder dentro de la cancha, digamos, porque no se pierde partido y eso hay que reconocerlo. Oh, there you go. My bad, G-Mac. Yo, what's good, man? G-Mac. I can't hear you, man. G-Mac. What's up? G-Mac. I can't hear, no puedo escuchar a G-Mac, weón. Yo. G-Mac. Are you there? Yo. Ahora no sé qué pasó ahí con G-Mac. Voy a seguir ahí intentando, obviamente, contactar a los brothers para poder hacer entrevistas. También el otro día había conseguido casi a una mujer también que hace contenido en inglés. Una gringa que sigue a los Dallas Mavericks. Bueno, no nos pudimos seguir contactando. Dice... el mismo comentario, weón. Saludos a Javi, weón. Pero bueno, parece que G-Mac no pudo subir, weón. No pudo subir G-Mac. Pero ahí está el enlace por si alguien quiere subir. Estamos aquí hablando de Brooklyn. Al principio hablamos de la encuesta de la NBA, de los gerentes. Ese video me gustó, había que hacerlo, así que después lo voy a cortar aquí del en vivo y lo voy a subir al canal. Varias cositas interesantes en esta encuesta de los GMs, weón. No sé qué pasó con G-Mac, weón. Pero bueno, estamos aquí. Weón, se ve muy bien el stream, weón. Se ve muy bien el stream, weón. Así que nos vemos, mi gente. Eso fue todo, weón. Vamos a esperar un ratito a ver si vuelve G-Mac. Si no, terminamos el en vivo. Weón, viendo acá la estadística, weón. Según los gerentes hay más confianza en Denver. Tuvo el de los primeros, dice... Los votos estaban, es como el MVP, en primer lugar, segundo lugar, tercer y cuarto lugar. En el primer lugar, Boston consiguió 53% y Denver consiguió 70%. Por eso Denver tiene que ir calmado nomás en la regular. Y eso es lo otro, no se sorprendan que Denver va a empezar lento. Lo dijimos acá, Denver va a empezar lento en la regular y después va a empezar a subir, weón. Va a empezar lento en la temporada regular Denver, weón. Y tiene que empezar tranquilo nomás. Tranquilo. Darle tiempo a Michael Porter Jr. si hay que darle tiempo. Jugar tranquilo. Mantener los hábitos. Ahora en la pretemporada, empezar a poner los hábitos bien en su lugar. Empezar a trabajar también la ética de trabajo, todas esas cosas. Y empezar a desarrollarlo durante la temporada, weón. Pero Denver tiene que ir de a poco, esta temporada es la regular nomás, weón. Sería el mejor escenario, obviamente, sería que Denver ganara el primer lugar para tener ventaja de localía. Así que nos vemos, mi gente. Gracias a todos. Mañana nos toca hablar de Brooklyn Nets. Al menos ya hablé hoy día de la encuesta de los gerentes. Aquí imprimí todas las hojitas. Estuvo bueno este programa. Bueno este programa. Nos vemos, mi gente. Gracias a todos. Gracias a todos. Acompáñenos hoy día a las 6 de la tarde, creo. Dice, trying, not working. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's wrong with this app. I've seen some people having issues trying to log in, but I mean, it's work. Has worked. Oh, there you go. I think G-Mac's there. Yo, G-Mac. G-Mac, what's good, man? I can't hear you. Yo, what's good? How you doing? I can't.
There, hopefully that worked.
Now you're rolling, man. How you doing, man?
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working at first.
Letting us do it.
It wasn't working at first, though.
Don't worry. Now you're good, man. Shout out to you and your wife, man. Much respect, bro.
He kind of had to help me out with it, so I was like, oh crap, it's not working.
Oh, okay. But now it's good. Now it's good. Let me ask you this: what's your opinion about the Nets, bro? What do you think about the Nets and especially Ben Simmons, man? I'm not a fan. I'm definitely not a fan of Ben Simmons. But what do you think about him and the Nets?
I think Ben Simmons is a very talented ball player. Sometimes I think he gets in his own way, in his own head. You know, I think somehow he lacks some mental toughness as a ball player. I mean, he has talent for sure. He's a very good defender. He's a capable passer, solid rebounder. He needs to improve his shooting, though. His shooting has been abysmal. His free throw shooting has been horrible through his career. And he's just too talented a ball player not to really work on his fundamentals as a basketball player. You know, because if he wants to last long in this league, one thing he's going to have to do is prove his jump shot. You know, guys who last long in this league need to be better jump shooters, and he just simply isn't. And I don't know why, for some reason.
Maybe it's like a mental block, you know, because every summer we see Ben Simmons shooting threes. He was working with Rajon Rondo in the off season, and to me it's like it's rare to see a player not working on his fundamentals and working on his shooting. We are not saying that he has to turn into Stephen Curry or something like that, you know, but you gotta improve that part of the game because, bro, when I was watching the Nets playing the Lakers. And come on, man, it's like tragic. It's a tragedy to watch Ben Simmons not look at the rim. He's looking to pass the ball. He's fucking scared to play basketball, and you cannot play that way. It's like he's dribbling, looking for someone to pass the ball, It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's like he got his contract, and once he got his money, he forgot how to play basketball for some reason. It's like, okay, I got my contract, I'm good, you know. And it's kind of a shame, too, because when he first came to the league, people saw a lot of potential. People were comparing him to be like the next LeBron to some people. You know, I remember when he first came out, when I first saw, I didn't see that, though. You know, I didn't see when I first came out, I didn't see the work ethic, you know, when he started coming in the league. I mean, he showed great potential when he first came in, but I just didn't see that look in his eye. Because, you know, some players, they had that look in their eye, like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and Bird. They always had that look in their eye, like they wanted to improve. They had that raw determination to get better, to improve their game, to work on their game. And just the way they talk, their attitude, their demeanor, their posture when they're on the court. And you don't see that with Ben Simmons. You just don't. You know, you just see a guy who's afraid to shoot the basketball. You know, it's like he forgot how to play ball for some damn reason. I don't even know why. I mean, he's just too talented a ball for not to. It's ridiculous.
And I wouldn't have a problem if he would be 6'3". If he was a small guard, I wouldn't have a problem, bro. You're 6'10", bro. You try to put some pressure on the rim. Try to do something, bro. If you were a little guard, I wouldn't have a problem with you. But you are 6'10", bro. We got a comment there. Ben Simmons has to leave the team because he's already low star level performance. My MVP this year, Curry, number 1. Wow, that's incredible, man. He has Curry as the MVP, but yeah, and I was talking to my audience and I was telling them, like, I didn't realize that Ben Simmons was the highest paid player on the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, he is. He's very high paid, and it's incredible. When you look at a player like Bridges, though, he's a very talented ball player, good 3D ball player. can shoot, can defend. I like Bridges a lot, though. I think he's a really good, solid player. I think it was a good trade for them to acquire him. He really showed a lot of strides last season for them. To me, I think he's one of the best players on their team right now at the moment. Is Bridges.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna ask you something. What do you think about the whole Ja Morant thing? Last year he was ranked number 9, which was crazy to me to have him in the top 10, and now he's like 35. With also crazy to have him maybe ranked that low. What do you think about that dropout and the whole situation with Ja this year?
I kind of see why people dropped him a little bit because of the whole gun situation, though. That kind of left a really bad reputation in people's mouths. It shows his lack of immaturity, because, people look up to professional athletes, you know what I'm saying? They look at us like the Tom Brady's of the world. People look up to those guys. They see them as inspirations, you know what I'm saying? And then when you see someone like Ja Morant, who's supposed to be representing the NBA, who's supposed to be this young player, who's up-and-coming player, who's got all this superstar talent, and then he's doing things that are not very intelligent, like he was doing, then it really leaves a bad impression, like that. And when you do those kind of things, though, it's like, you're like, wait a minute here. You expect young kids to be like you, want to be like you, and you're supposed to be setting an example, and then you do stuff like this. What are young kids supposed to say, though, who want to come in and be a battle player? It's cool to just wave around a gun and think it's cool? It's not. It's just not. It sets a very bad precedent, it's not right. And, when you have a platform like some of these NBA players do, you have to be careful what you say and what you're doing because everybody's watching you, because you have all these social media platforms nowadays like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok now, and that stuff is everywhere. When people see like, wait a minute, what the heck is he doing here? So like when we see like, for example, like when we saw in the Shop episode once with LeBron James, when the guy asked him the question, why do you hate Boston? And LeBron said, because they're racist as fuck. I mean, you have to think about what you're saying too, though, you know what I'm saying? When you say stuff like that, somebody asks you a hateful question like that, you don't give a hateful response. You say to him, hey, listen, what you said is wrong because hate is wrong. You don't promote hate. Okay? You can say to me, hey, like rephrase the question, I say, why are you not a big fan of Boston? And they say, okay, I'm not a big fan because of, the way I was treated in certain situations with certain individuals, the way they behave towards me, and not everybody's like that, you know what I'm saying? When you start phrasing that way, it shows your intelligence as a basketball player. It shows people, hey, he's not just, just going with his first gut reaction. He's actually thinking about what he's going to say before he does something. Okay? Those are just prime examples of this, and it's like that. It's like I saw with Dwayne Wade, 2 examples. I remember him saying he used the race card as an excuse why no one liked the Miami Heat team when they joined forces together. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, that's not the reason why people didn't like you guys.
Yep.
The reason why people didn't like you guys is because you guys were very arrogant. You guys were bragging like you had already won a championship when you guys hadn't won anything yet or played a single minute together.
They had a parade before winning.
Exactly. They even had a big sign, we did it. What did you guys do exactly? You guys hadn't won a championship together. It doesn't happen yet. I mean, LeBron had no rings at that time period. He hadn't even won a final game at that time period. Oh, none. He hadn't been in the finals like 3 years up to that period. I mean, that's why I didn't get it. I'm like, seriously? And he used that as an excuse. I'm like, come on, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I didn't agree with that at all. I just didn't.
Me neither. And we live nowadays in a generation where, you send out a tweet and then you can say, oh, no, but I was hacked. And same with the media, it happens a lot. That someone says something and they say, "Oh no, but you misinterpreted my thoughts. You take me out of context." It's like that's a message that obviously I'm trying to work in, and I've been telling my audience the same thing. It's like you should try to think before you say something, or if you say something, stand on your fucking nuts about that shit.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, obviously, everybody makes mistakes. No one's perfect, but, when somebody asks you certain questions, though, like that, you have to say, okay, that's not, if somebody would ask me a question like they asked LeBron like that, why do you hate Boston? I would have not responded that way because I know there's a better way to respond to that. It just is, and and it's not just those things like with LeBron James too. It's like things with, like you said, with John Morant as well, the whole gun situation. You know, the whole thing with Ben Simmons too as well, and his behavior as well too. You know, and then you see the whole thing with Draymond Green punching his team out in practice with Jordan Poole as well too. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. I mean, you guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars. You expect people to look up to you, and then you do shit like this. It's like, come on.
And they are media trained. They know how to work with questions. They know how to give certain answers that can like give a different perspective. But sometimes, it's like, you know, when a player is like too honest, sometimes we want them to be like fake, you know. And when they are fake, we want them to be honest. It's like, it's a crazy rabbit hole, you know. But he said, wow, Ja Morant, ESPN News, list 35. Wow, it's crazy, man. Having 35.
Ja Morant, he's a very talented ball player, very explosive. There's no question about his talent. You know, I just think he needs to get his head on straight. You know what I'm saying? He does. He's too talented of a ball player to do the things he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He wants people to look up to him, but when you're doing things like that, no one's going to look up to you. They're just not. You know?
Yeah, and like a lot of people, celebrities, NBA ball players, they want the recognition, but they don't want like to face the scrutiny, you know, because of the things that you did. Because Ja Morant got in this trouble because of him, not because of, or maybe people are gonna say, oh, because of the people that were surrounding him and shit like that. But it was him. The reason that he lost 60 million, the reason that he got suspended 25 games, is he gonna learn when he comes back from this suspension, or he's gonna still be, you know, when Ja Morant said what we were already talking, saying, oh, I'm fine in the West. I'm fine in the West. Bro, come on, man.
You know, I mean, yeah, the whole situation with Ja Morant, though, I mean, I just think, you know, he's got to get his head on straight, though, man. And in order to get your head on straight, man, you got to look at your life and look at what you're doing wrong. And say, you know, am I setting the right example for myself? Am I setting an example for the people around me? You know, am I being an inspiration to other people and to myself? You know, do I like what I'm seeing for myself? You know what I'm saying? You have to ask them all those questions, you know. And if you can't honestly be open with yourself, though, then how do you expect to make changes in your life?
Yup, we got a comment here. Alexander, number 8. Oh, aún no veo la lista. I haven't seen the list yet. Shout out, saludito ahí a Derlin. Let me ask you this. Who's the best leader in the NBA for you?
Well, you know, like I said, leadership, I look at leadership a lot differently than most people because I used to be in the military. So to me, to be a good leader is about setting the right example. You can't be a good leader unless you know how to follow. Then, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a good leader, but if you don't understand how to follow someone first, how can you expect to be a leader? You can't. It's not possible. Okay? And being a leader is about setting the right example. It's not about degrading people in front of other people, you know what I'm saying? You know, humiliating them. That's not the way of being a good leader. It's about listening, open communication, understanding where people are coming from, you know, and really being able to connect with people to get a feel where they're coming from, what their backgrounds are, you know, because you can't take the same approach with everybody. You have to take the approach with everybody. Everybody's not the same. Everybody's different. You know, man. You know, and you have to know, you know, when you're a leader amongst people, amongst men, especially back or anything that matter, you have to know how to set the right example. You know what I'm saying? By saying the right things, doing the right things. You know, when you're doing those kind of things, it leaves an impression on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You know, now I understand there's certain people that lead certain ways, and I'm not saying that their way is better than other ways. Everyone does the thing differently. But for me to be a good leader, you know, you have to set the right tone for yourself and for others. You know, you have to be an inspiration to others and to yourself. You know, you have to be open communication to other people. Now, if you see like you're having problems and issues with somebody, pull them aside. Don't berate them in front of other people. I saw that a lot in the military, and I used to dislike it so damn much when I used to do the military constantly. Okay? That's not how you lead people. Okay? If you want people to follow you, okay, then you gotta set a good example. Okay? You gotta sit down there, have an open conversation with them, and treat them like they're human beings. Don't treat them like another number, another statistic. Because when you do that, guess what? No one wants to be here. No one wants you leading them. Nobody does. You know? And you gotta treat people fairly, but you also gotta be tough too. You gotta give people some tough love sometimes too. It's necessary. It's necessary. You know, because that helps them get them back on the right track. Like, oh, okay, I'm doing this wrong. You know, but do it in a way though that's not going to humiliate them or degrade them in any way possible. When you do that, not only will they respect you, but you'll start respecting yourself more too as well. because you're setting the right example for them. You know?
To me, I think I agree completely, 100% with you. To me, I think I would say Jimmy. To me, Jimmy Butler. If I would have to pick one player, I think Jimmy Butler is the best leader in the NBA. Is that crazy to say?
Well, Jimmy Butler, he has this kind of mentality. He has this dogfighter mentality. Yep. You know what I'm saying? But he's like, hey, he expects a certain thing from his teammates. And like, hey, if I wouldn't do it, then I don't expect you to do it. Then if I won't do it myself, if I'm not willing to go for a loose ball on the ground, then how can I expect my teammates to go for a loose ball on the ground? If I'm not willing to, I'm not willing to go the extra mile and put the work in, then how do I expect the guys around me to do the same thing? Because you're not setting the right example. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, definitely, man.
You just have to do it. Because if you look at guys like Dennis Rodman back in the day, Dennis Rodman was like jumping lanes for balls, going out there, you know what I'm saying, and putting his body on the line, you know what I'm saying? And then look at guys like Bird, too. When players on your team see you do that, like, wow, if he's doing it, that means we want to do it too, you know what I'm saying? Because if he's willing to go that mile, then damn it, I'm going to go the same mile too, you know? But you got to be willing to do that too as a leader, though. And if the guys see, you know, if you have this attitude as a leader, like, you know, like, yeah, I'm better than everybody else, and I think I'm cool and all this crap, no one's going to want to follow
being condescending.
No matter how talented. Yeah, no one wants to follow around a player who has a big ego. No one does. Eventually, it gets tired and gets old. And that's why you see a lot of players, after they get done playing with certain individuals, they speak out against them. Say, hey, I didn't like enjoying playing with them, of course. He was, you know, he set a really bad example. You know, he was never disciplined in locker rooms. You know, he didn't want to come to meetings. He didn't want to interact with the guys on the team.
Being late for flights.
Like that. Exactly. Those set the wrong. When you're a leader, you have to set it. I always say, when you're a leader, you're the first one in the room, and you're the last one to damn leave.
That's great. That's great, man. I've been saying that ever since, like, a long time ago. And sometimes we don't talk about this particular part of the game. You know, we talk about like, oh, he doesn't shoot. Oh, he shoot. Oh, he attacks the rim. He's a defender. But we don't talk enough about leadership. You know, and that's part of the exercise that I've been doing like these couple of days, like doing a preview for each team. And then I go through I go through the team, and I ask the question, who's the leader of this team? You know, and sometimes it's not very clearly who's the leader. Sometimes it might be the coach. The coach, it can be the leader too.
No question about it. You know what I'm saying? No, but I think when it comes to whether it's sports or anything like that, you know, someone has to step and say, hey, everybody on me, follow me, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And when you see guys, when they say this, I'm like this. When one person's not doing their job, you're all not doing your jobs. Because when you're playing basketball, it's a team sport. You know what I'm saying? You know, if one guy drops the ball, you're all dropping the ball. Because guess what? At the end of the day, if you lose, you all lost.
We win together, we lose together.
Exactly. But nowadays, I mean, I'm not saying it's like that with every player, but you see a lot of players that when they lose, you know, they're willing to blame this guy. They're willing to, no. Everybody's at fault. You know, when one guy does the ball, you're all dropping the damn ball. It's not just this certain individual. Yes, he may have made the mistake though, but did anybody hold him accountable for his mistake?
Like Joel Embiid. After they lost the 3-2 lead against Boston, he said he went into the podium and said, "Oh, I cannot win by myself. Me and James cannot win by ourselves. We need everybody." It's like it was exactly what you were saying. And sometimes with Giannis too, the fact that he said, "Oh, this was not a failure" and shit like that, it's like,
to me, you know, and that's what, you know. If you look at the players today, the one I like Jokic because Jokic just says the way it is. You know, say, hey, you know, we're a team. You know, we got to do our job. Everybody's got to play their parts. Everybody's got to play their roles. You know what I'm saying? Like he's I think he's one of the most humble superstars in the league right now. Jokic. You know what I'm saying? He really is. You know, he's not arrogant. He doesn't try to be somebody he's not. You know, like after they won the championship, like, hey, I'm gonna go back to my home Serbia and I'm go. That's where my family horse is.
Job's done. Job's done. We can go home now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You know, but a lot of these guys, you know, and I understand, you know, there's a lot of pressure, expectation, you're making a lot of money. I get it, you know what I'm saying? But just because you're making a lot of money, it doesn't mean you have to start being a good individual. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. We look at some of celebrities today, like they have Keanu Reeves. Now everybody knows who Keanu Reeves is.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves is world famous, but you look at Keanu Reeves though, you will never see Keanu Reeves be rude to somebody. You just won't. You never see him go be ruthless, no matter how tired or exhausted he is. I've seen him many times. When he's coming out of the airport like that, stuff like that. He's exhausted. You can tell he looks really tired, but he still goes up and greets the fan or smiles at him, gives him a handshake. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him even eat with a homeless person once. And just have a whole conversation with him. I've seen him do that too. You don't see a lot of famous people do that anymore. You just don't. It's very rare. It's very rare.
And I don't know him, but I'm pretty sure he's not doing that for the cameras, right? For the paparazzis, right?
Oh no! I know because it's happened to him all day. He's like that everywhere.
Yep.
He's like wherever he goes. I've seen him when he's been on airports. I've seen him when he's been on movie sets. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's ever come across him, that's the way he acts. You know what I'm saying? But people forget he's been through a lot in his life too, though. People don't realize how much tragedy he's gone through in his life, though, and how much struggle he's had in his life too. People overlook that too as well.
Yeah. And what you said about Jokic is 100% true, man. It's a new flavor, and sometimes we are accustomed to with a other flavor, being arrogant, like being a top dog, like speaking publicly, asking for help. Have you ever seen Jokic come up in an interview or somewhere saying, "Oh, I don't have enough help. I don't know if I'm gonna sign here. The front office has to do these changes to me for me to sign here." We've never seen something like that from Jokic, and that's something that it makes me mad because I support Jokic and I support Denver. That people till to this day they are not giving Jokic his credit. First they said, "Oh, he's fat. Oh, he's lazy. Oh, he's boring. Oh, he doesn't play defense. Oh, he always flames out in the playoffs. Oh, you cannot win a championship with him. Blah blah blah." Then he did it, and now people are saying, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I don't trust in Jokic because probably he's gonna retire in 5 years. I don't trust in his motivation." Really, they are always trying to find something to not give this dude a credit that he deserves.
Oh, it's like with Tim Duncan too. Like if you look at Tim Duncan now, I've seen a lot of people when they talk about Duncan, they don't. A lot of people still undervalue him for some reason though. Why? Because he wasn't as vocal as people wanted him to be. But he still went out there, did his thing. He never freaking. I mean, everybody gets on their team a little bit, of course. You know what I'm saying? It's a sport, you're competing. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people didn't like the way Tim Duncan played. Tim Duncan's boring. The scores are boring. You know what I'm saying? No one's interested in this team, but yet they kept winning every year. Because Duncan was the kind of leader. He just set an example. He just went out there, did his thing. He played his game, set the right tone for him and his teammates. That's what he did. And Jokic kind of does the same thing. You don't always have to be like this very outbrash, very like extravagant vocal leader. Not everybody's Michael Jordan. Not everybody's Kobe Bryant. Not everybody's LeBron James. Everybody has a different personality. And sometimes it's nice to see a guy like a Jokic or Tim Duncan who has a different personality, who leads a different way. But like I said, everybody leads different. But if as long as it produces the results, and the guys in your team are willing to follow you, and you're setting the right example for them, that's all that matters. It's the moment when your team starts speaking out against you, something like that, and start criticizing you for your bad leadership, then you got a problem.
Yeah, this narrative. Oh, the NBA is like putting international players in the front page, like to make them favorites to win MVP. It's like, bro, you are not. Bro, is the NBA giving you an MVP award, or are you earning that MVP award? It's like I think that's also had been my premise ever since I started my podcast. It's like I'm supporting international players. Joel Embiid is not an international player anymore, right?
Well, no. Well, to me, he's still international. He's from Cameroon. He was born and raised in Cameroon.
But he will represent the U.S. It's like, to me, at least to me, after I saw that he was representing the United States, to me, he's not an international player. He's from the U.S.
Well, to me, it's like I said, like Akeem Olajuwon.
Yep.
I don't consider Akeem an American player because Akeem wasn't born in America. You know what I'm saying? He came from different heritage. You know what I'm saying? People look at Patrick Ewing. Believe it or not, Patrick Ewing's not really American. He was Jamaican. Yep. You know what I'm saying? But people seem to forget about him too.
Dominique, wasn't Dominique born in France too, or something like that? Let me check that.
I know because like Tony Parker, like people think Tony Parker's French. Actually, Tony Parker is not French. Actually,
that's crazy, man. Who do you think is the biggest threat to the Denver Nuggets in the West? The Phoenix Suns, the Lakers, Warriors.
Like I said, health is always important, especially when you're competing in the Western Conference or in the East, that matter. And we look at the West Conference last year was very capped and very messy last year. But like I said, injuries played a big part last year in the playoffs last year. If we look at Memphis, Steven Adams was out the entire playoffs last year. He's their best rebounder. He's one of the best all-around in the league, and they didn't have him that series against the Lakers, which made a big difference. We saw in the Minnesota series when they played Lakers in the play-in tournament game, Gobert did not play the game. That made a big difference. I believe if Gobert were to play the game, I don't believe Lakers win that play-in tournament game. I don't, because that made a big difference. He didn't play, And we look at so many other aspects. We look at the Phoenix series. Chris Paul got hurt in that series against Denver as well too. People forget this. We look at the Clippers series. Kawhi and PG. Kawhi got hurt over that series. PG didn't play at all in that series. It made a big difference in that series because I believe Kawhi and PG played that series is a whole different series. And then we look at the Milwaukee series. Giannis was hurt half the series against Miami too. That played a difference as well. I think Miami could have still won this for sure, but Giannis being out and not being 100%, it definitely played a factor. You know what I'm saying? And we also looked at Miami at the end too. Not having Tyler Hero eventually took a toll on the Heat eventually after a while because they lacked another score option once Butler started slowing down, and stuff. That made a big difference too because we look at my head, Butler and Bam, but after that, who was that third scoring option? They had to keep looking for a game after game. Was it Strauss? Was it Gabe Vincent? Was it Caleb Martin? With Hero, they didn't have that question. But against a team like Denver, we saw that lack of a third scorer option did play a factor eventually as that started went on, though. Because they're like, who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be that third option? Or if Butler has an off night, who's going to be the number one and then the go-to option after that? And that was really Miami's doing that series well. So injuries do play a big factor in things too. And we saw that. It may have not affected Miami right away, but as the series went on, though, against Denver, we saw not having Hero made a big difference.
Yep, and I checked. Dominique was born in France, in Paris.
Yeah, because people think about Tony Parker. Tony Parker's not even French, actually. Tony Parker was actually born in Belgium, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
The same with Sabonis kid. The Sabonis kid, he was born in the U.S. He represents Lithuania, but he was born in the U.S. too.
Yeah. That's why I always think it's very interesting. What do you consider an American player? What do you consider an international player? Because really think about it, what really is an American exactly nowadays? I mean, if you really be technical about it, really, think about it. To me, when I think American, I think of the Native Americans.
Yup.
To be honest with you, And I always look at that too when people say, "Oh, I'm an American." I said, well, technically, most of you guys come from either European descent or some African descent, or from this kind of descent. When you look at your background, your histories, most of you guys, which is technically true, it's very true. And then look at most people who are actually born in America. Most of them are actually Native Americans. That's why they call them the Native Americans.
Yep. To me, people have a lot of faith in the Phoenix Suns, but to me, when the tough gets tougher, when it's 5 minutes to go, when it's 2 minutes to go in a game that you are down, that you have to win, who's gonna set up the offense? Because Kevin Durant has been saying all this BS to me that it's positionless basketball nowadays. We don't need a point guard and shit like that. But to me, it's like, bro, you need someone to work the traffic, to organize the offense, and to run some plays. It's like you're probably gonna win in the regular season, but I don't think the Phoenix Suns can win big in the playoffs, especially because they don't have a true leader. Who's the leader of the Phoenix Suns? Booker?
Yeah, I see what you're understanding too. Is like when people talk about this positionless basketball in the NBA today, it has its positives, but it also has its negative too. When you play positionless basketball, a lot of times you're gonna have guys who are not used to playing certain positions, who are not capable of playing that positions, who either don't have the skill set or the size. And we see a lot of that in the NBA. And that helps also inflate the scoring in the league today as well, too. Because if you got a guy who's like, we'll say guys like, playing small forward, right? Now, most small forwards are somewhere between like 6'7" and 6'9", most small forwards, right? Or 6'6" at least. But sometimes you got guys 6'4", 6'5" playing the small forward position, who don't have the size to play the position, or the skills of some guys. Or you have some guys playing center Now most centers are somewhere between like 6'10" to like 7 feet, 7'2" sometimes, or
Like
taller.
Bam.
Most guys. But then you have a guy like 6'7", 6'8" playing center, and then you're like, well, why are they getting dog walked? Well, you're getting dog walked because you got a guy 6'7" playing center who doesn't have the size to play the position. Or like this, like we have Rudy Gobert, right? They expect Rudy Gobert to play position basketball, but the problem is Rudy Gobert cannot, because why? His skill set is not built to play positions basketball, because Rudy Gobert is more of a rim protector.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if Rudy Gobert played in the 90s, he'd be a lot more effective.
Or in FIBA.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If he played in the 90s, he'd be a lot more effective. In this era, it doesn't really work for a guy like him because he's not capable of being able to guard or play more just because of his lack of skill set. You know what I'm saying? He has the size, but he lacks the skill set to play certain positions because of this reason. That's why I'm not really a big fan of positionless basketball. And that's why you see a lot of teams getting exploited defensively. That's why you see a lot of inflation in scoring. That's why, a lot of times when you play positionless basketball, a lot of teams play small ball too. When you play small basketball, yeah, you play faster, but guess what though? When you're going up against teams who's in size, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get beat down below. They're going to punish you inside the painted area. Now they're going to post you down the block a lot of times as well too. That's going to affect your defense as well too. People don't look at, they don't take that as a factor as well too. So to me, I think positionless basketball is good for certain things, but I think positionless basketball has also been a bad thing for the NBA too as well. And people say the players back then they couldn't play the way that is today. That's crap, because if you look at a lot of players back then, they were capable of playing that way. Scottie Pippen was a very versatile player. He could play the 1, he could play the 2 or the 3. Look at Robin, he could play the 4 or the 5 back then. Look at Kukoc. He was a stretch 4. He could play the 3 or the 4 at times. As well too. Harper could play the 1 or 2s a lot of times. And stuff. Look at Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan played power forward or center back in the day. A lot of people labeled Duncan as a power forward, but he could play center though. He was very capable of playing center very easily. Look at Bird. Bird could play. They were like, Bird was only a small forward, but Bird played power forward a lot early in his career, and then switched to small forward later on. Which people say a lot of times too about him. Yeah, look at Magic. Look at Magic in the finals when Kareem got hurt. Magic was playing center for crying out loud.
But I really appreciate your take about positionless basketball. And to me, it's like it's a cute label, to put in this movement nowadays, right? It's like it's cute to say, oh, we play positionless basketball, but it's like I've not buy into that concept like a lot of people, It's like, but to me, it's like a nice label to put in this era of basketball.
Yeah, I think the reason why I do that because I want to think like, oh, the players are capable of playing multiple positions on the court, and basically say, hey, the players are more capable of doing it today than they were back then, which is just not true. There were many players back then that were very capable of playing multiple positions, back in the day. They were very, very skilled players back then. But a lot of people forget about a lot of those guys too, because they get so fixated on the player today, though, that they forget about the players who are capable of doing multiple and playing multiple. If we look at a guy like Hakeem Olajuwon was an incredibly versatile player. A guy who could score, rebound, play defense, had great post-up moves, people overlook a guy like this, or other players too as well, But look at Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was an incredibly skilled player. He could score, he could rebound the basketball, he could block shots. Wilt Chamberlain had passing ability too as well. People overlook these factors too as well. Look at Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson was an incredibly gifted ball player. He could score with the basketball.
He was tall.
Yeah, he was only 6'5", and people like to disrespect John Stockton, what I'm saying? I hear it all the time, constantly, the different type of Stockton is. But people forget it. Stockton, the man was 6'1". He wasn't like he was a massive dude. But if you look at what he was doing in his time period, his era, he was playing in the air, was very physical, very defensive oriented, where a guy would allow to hand check you, move you a certain way, and take you to certain positions, and get you out of you couldn't make certain plays. You didn't have the space to operate as much. So when you threw those passes, the windows were a lot tighter and a lot more difficult. So you had to make sure you threw with more accuracy and precision. Otherwise, those passes were getting picked up and taken the other way back in those days. They just were, and stuff. But that is a skill set too, though. It's about making the right at the right moments, And people say, oh, Stockton couldn't do behind back passes. Dude, I've seen John Stockton do plenty of behind their back passes a ton of times and stuff. I've seen John make baseball passes across the court. You know what I'm saying? And like what film are you guys watching about some of these players? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. You know, it's just crazy to me to think that way. It's just, I don't get it.
Facts, and that's why we need people like you, man, here in the basketball discourse. But in regards with Phoenix, to me, it's like who's the player that when they are down 5 points, 2 minutes left, is gonna, like, you know, when Giannis he smashed like a chair, and he was saying, hey, we gotta play better and shit, and everybody was locked in what he was saying, you know. The same with Jokic last year, going, hey, I don't care if we scored, let's run this play and try to execute it. Who's gonna be that player for the Phoenix Suns? Is gonna be KD, the one saying, oh, we gotta play better, now we gotta locked in, trust in me? Who's that player? I don't see it.
Well, I don't think it's Bradley Beal, though, because look at Bradley Beal in Washington. Bradley Beal, he was a very good player, but I never saw the Bradley Beal. You know, he's a talented baller for the score and shoot, but Bradley Beal never really was that kind of leader or that alpha dog, that number one option like people wanted to make him out.
It was John Wall, right?
I think Booker's a very yeah, John Wall too. Yeah, of course, yeah. And you know, look at Devin Booker. Devin Booker can score and shoot. He's a good defender, but you know, Booker has passing ability. And I think he could be the floor general, but in order for that to happen, Booker's going to have to, you know, probably score a little bit less in order for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's, hey, Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, you guys be the shooters on the perimeter, and I run the offense. Now, if they go that direction, and Booker's willing to accept that kind of role, you know what I'm saying, where he's going to score a little less, but he's going to facilitate more and get guys more involved instead of being KD on the perimeter, they're not going to perimeter, then it might work. But I don't know if Booker's going to be willing to do that, though. You know what I'm saying? Because Booker's kind of a player, he has a score-first mentality, like Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. Those guys have score-first mentality. They don't like, oh, pass first and throw and score second. You know what I'm saying? Some players don't have that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Some players do. Dame Leonard doesn't have that mentality. He's a score-first player.
Conditioned to score,
you know
right?
Exactly. We look at a guy like John Stockton or Mark Price. Those guys were like pass first, score second. Or Steve Nash, same thing. Pass first, score second. Or Rondo, same thing. Those guys have that mentality. These guys on Phoenix team don't. For me, Phoenix is going to need someone to be the playmaker. You know, when it gets down to the point, like you said, you know, you're going to need somebody to facilitate your offense. And me personally, I don't think it's going to be Kevin Durant, to be honest with you, because Kevin Durant's more of a scorer.
His fucking handle is weak, bro. He's weak.
I don't think it's going to be Bradley Beal and stuff. The only guy I can see really taking on that option would be Booker. But Booker's going to have to be willing to embrace that kind of role. And the question is he going to be willing to? I don't know, because I haven't really seen him do it. Now, I mean, I've seen him show at times, his playmaking ability, because I think he does have playmaking ability for sure. He's a very talented ball player. But to be an ultimate playmaker, to be a facilitator, you have to have that mindset. Okay, I'm going to score less, and I'm going to have to like brace like my inner Magic Johnson or Rondo, and say, hey, I'm going to be a facilitator and set everybody else up and let my offense come to me later on.
And why KD keeps getting into these like three-headed monster? First, it didn't work out in Brooklyn with KD, Kyrie, Harden. Now it's some way very similar to what the Phoenix Suns are trying to build with Bradley Beal, Booker, and KD. But why KD keeps getting into this type of teams? You know, if he doesn't, bro, if he doesn't get at least to the Western Conference this year, I don't want to hear ever about KD. I mean, maybe some people may think that I'm crazy. I don't care, but to me, KD is like a glorified Carmelo Anthony, man. It's like, because people say, because when I compare KD to other players, I ask him, who's a better rebounder? Who's a better assist playmaker? And they always say, but that's not KD's job. KD's not there to do that. So what is KD's job? To only score?
And listen, Kevin Durant's a very good developer. No one's questioning about, man. Kevin Durant's a very good scorer. Can get a shot against anybody. No one debates it. He's a solid rebounder too. I mean, he's not a bad player. He's not a great passer, but he's a solid passer. He's a good defender too, where he really wants to put the effort out on the defensive end. But for me, Kevin Durant is like he's a superstar. There's no doubt about it. He's a bona fide superstar. No one questions this. But Kevin Durant's the kind of ball player. Like I said, some players have that mentality. You know what I'm saying? They have that alpha dog number one option mentality. He has the talent of a number one option, but sometimes he doesn't always have the mentality of a number one option. You know what I'm saying? We look at guys with their mentality. We look at a guy like Akeem Olajuwon. You know, we look at guys like Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? They had that mentality about them. You know what I'm saying?
They were dogs.
Or Isaiah Thomas, even Isaiah Thomas, even he had that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Even he had it in him. You know, as well. When people forget, he had that mentality as well. You know, and Kevin, like, I think that's why Kevin went and joined going to Golden Warriors, because, you know, where he can still be the guy, but not have to be the guy.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying? In a way. Exactly. Like, oh, if we win, great. If we don't, then, well, it's not my team, it's Steph's team. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what LeBron did. Oh, if we don't win in mine, it's not really my team. It's kind of it's D-Wade's team, you know, because he's the champion. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the same damn thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can still be the man, but if we don't succeed, well, then it's not my team. So don't split off
maybe
me.
something similar to what Damian Lillard did this summer. Like if we succeed, if we win, oh, it's great. But if we don't win, Lillard said he acknowledged that now he's playing with a better player than him. If we want to believe in or not, that's on us. But maybe something similar to what Lillard is doing right with the Bucks, right?
Well, I think Damian Lillard is a little bit different, you know, because I think we can't compare him to KD and like that stuff, because, you know, look at Dame. Dame had talent in Portland, but Dame didn't have the kind of talent that Kevin Durant did at OKC. You look at OKC, you know, he had Russell Westbrook, was a former MVP of the league. He had James Harden, was a former MVP of the league on his team as well. When you have two players that caliber on one team and you can't win a championship, what does that say about you as a ball player? You know
Is KD the most like spoiled player in NBA history? He, as you mentioned, he got Harden, Westbrook, then he got Curry, Clay, then he got Kyrie, Harden, then he got Booger and Bradley Beal. It's like, come on, man. And you only won in Golden State?
Well, it's true, because people, if you look at Kevin Durant's career, Kevin Durant's never won a championship without Steph Curry. In fact, the man's never been to a finals during a full NBA season or a full playoffs during a full 8 year without Steph Curry. The only time I ever got there was during a lockout season. And like I said, when you win a title, when you get to the final or lockout season, guess what? It's a shortened season. You know, it's still an asterisk, in my opinion. It still counts
me
towards
too,
the
but
NBA.
people are gonna say, "Oh, but it doesn't matter." Come on, man.
So like when people look at when LeBron James won his first title, he won his title during a lockout short season when half the playoff teams in the East were hurt that year. But people always want to overlook those factors.
2012 and 2020.
Yeah, you have to look at the bubble too. Like, oh, the bubble was like, you know, like legit. Like, people, no, it wasn't. The season was postponed for months. The season was shortened, for crying out loud. They even postponed games during the middle of the damn playoffs too, for crying out loud. I mean, come on. There was no travel for the bus. And look, traveling makes a big difference. When you have to travel less, guess what? That is a huge factor. It plays massive, because people don't think jet lag plays a big factor. You know what I'm saying? When you have to travel from place to place, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a huge factor. I don't know how many times, because I've flown from Europe to the Middle East, and let me tell you, when you have to travel for long periods of time, constant move, it takes a toll on you, mentally, physically, on your body. Exactly, it's draining. You know, and people don't look at it. And when you don't have to travel, guess what? It's a big difference. You know, and like, well, the bubble was hard. Dude, you were playing Disney World next to the Disney princesses. Come on now. Seriously? I mean, you guys were acting like you were playing in the middle of Iraq or something. Yep. Come on.
And there wasn't any crowd behind the backboard. That might be one of the reasons that we saw a lot of like nice percentages from three, from the mid range, a lot of scoring. There wasn't any crowd behind the backboard. The rim.
No, of course not. Yeah, no, not just that. Like when LeBron won his championship in the bubble, everyone's like, he said, everybody, like, give me my damn respect. Like, first of all, I hated the fact, I disliked the fact. That's not how to hate. Disliked the fact that he said it. Why? Because respect is not given.
It's earned. Come on, man.
You don't give it. You have to earn respect. You have to earn it. When you're demanding people to give it to you, then that makes people not want to respect you. It doesn't.
And
it does. And you have to add context too. I mean, look at that. Okay, who he beat in the first one? He beat Portland. Don't forget, Dane got hurt in that series. McCollum was playing with an inner back in that series, which people seem to forget, okay, as well. We look at the Miami series. Miami wasn't healthy. Goran Dragic was hurt. Bam was hurt in that series as well, too. Let's add context here.
And it is not a coincidence that the best version that we've seen in the last couple of years years of AD was in the bubble. Or let me ask you this: have we ever seen the same production from LeBron and AD the last couple of years in the playoffs after the bubble?
I think we saw sparks of it here and there during these playoffs, here and there, but not consistently. We saw it in moments here and there, like, okay, they played really well together, and they're like, okay, they didn't, you know what I'm saying? I look at Ant Davis. Ant Davis is a very talented ball player, you know? He's definitely got a top 5 talent for sure. But when I look at him, the Lakers are paying him right now like he's a bona fide number 1
superstar
franchise. They're paying him like a game-changing, altering player. Like he's going to change their life forever. I mean, they're going to be paying this guy $62 million over the last 3 years of his contract. He got the biggest contract than anybody in NBA history this offseason. I mean, why would you give a guy who can't even play 60 games or more during the last 3 years? The man's only played 60-plus games more once in the last 5 years. That's it. Once in the past 5 years.
Doesn't want to play center. LeBron said that he's the face of the franchise. Maybe this is like a marketing campaign by Clutch Sports.
You know, and then I hear Darvin Ham wants him to shoot 6 3-pointers per game. I'm like, 6 threes per game? This guy's not a 3-point shooter.
Bro, do you know what Anthony Davis shoot for his career from 3?
I think it's not very high.
30%.
I think it's, yeah, exactly.
So it's like I thank you for bringing that point, man. So pay attention. AD has to be the best defender, the best rebounder. He has to score. He has to shoot threes now. He's the best. He's the face of the franchise. He has to be reliable. He has to be consistent. And people, and it's like, bro, if AD has to do all that for the Lakers to have a successful season, I said this before, he's carrying a legion of role players. If AD has to do all that for the Lakers to be successful, he's carrying a legion of role players. If AD does that and gets a championship doing all that, AD, we got to give him respect. We got to take our head off for AD, bro.
Yeah, but I look at the Lakers, their offseason this year. I don't think they had a bad offseason. My problem with their offseason is this, though. I think a lot of people overhype their offseason. Because if we start adding context to their offseason, like example, like they brought back D'Lo. Why did you bring back a guy who literally became unplayable in the biggest moment of the season, and you had to bench him, and yet you brought him back, and you paid him more money than Austin Reeves, who performed better than him did? That made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Why would you do that?
Probably they're going to trade him, right, at the trade deadline.
But even still, though, what kind of example? Oh, hey, Austin Reeves, you played great, you know, and we like you, but we're going to pay this guy a little bit more to you, even though he underperformed when it mattered the most, and we had to bench him. You sent a wrong example to the guy who did play. It was like, oh, like performing well doesn't mean shit then. You know, you can perform like crap and still get paid more.
And that
makes no sense.
When was the last time the Lakers started with a group and ended with the same group?
Exactly. You know, then we look at like they went out and got Gabe Vincent. Like, oh, Gabe Vincent, nice. People, Gabe Vincent shot 40% from the field last year. 40%.
Damn.
People forget this. That's how bad he shot during the season last year. And go back to last season's finals. He shot 20% or less from the field. Last 3 games of the NBA Finals, he was bad shooting the ball from the field. He was almost unplayable at the end of the finals, literally, because he couldn't shoot. He couldn't shoot shots. He was knocking anything down. And how are you going to say this guy's going to be? How are you going to say to me say he's better than Schroeder? Schroeder just took Team Germany and led them to a world championship and beat teams on the way to doing it. And you're going to tell me he's better than Gabe's better than him? I don't buy that. I'm not believing that shit one bit. Not one bit at all.
And as you mentioned, it's a lot of big up, you know, or to promote your team. You know, it happened with Denver. I said this shit before. It's like, what's easier to say that Denver, to follow the narrative that Denver lost a lot of depth and they lost Bruce Brown and Jeff Green? What's easier to say that or to look at what Denver got in the rookies? It's like if I said this, if someone tells me, oh, Denver got worse, they lost bench players from the bench and shit, I would ask them, name me the rookies that Denver took. Would they know the names of the rookies for Denver? Probably not, right?
Exactly.
It's like easier to say, oh, yeah. Denver got worse, and they lost bench players, and it's easier to do that to look into the team.
Well, I look at Denver as a team, though. I do think Bruce Brown's a little bit of a loss for them because he did play really well for them last year, though.
Definitely.
You know, he was a very big impact. He was a very big impact player. I want to see who's going to fill his role because, like I said, you know, in the playoffs, we already know in the playoffs the rotation shortens in the playoffs, of course. But during the regular season, though, you do need depth to survive an 82-game season when it's fine like that. And depth does matter, especially if key players get hurt. Now, we know, like I said, Jamal Murray's got hurt in the past before. So, you know, we hope he doesn't get hurt again this year, of course. Always like that, but you never know.
Porter Jr.
You know, if he does get
Porter
hurt,
is dealing with a little nagging injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so you got to be careful of that, too, because that's where depth comes into play, though. If you don't have depth, though, you won't make it through a season if you don't have the depth. You know? That can really derail you. I mean, the difference between you being a top seed in your conference to dropping that down a 6th, 7th team fighting for a playing tournament spot. You know, we saw a lot, you know, last year. Looking with Minnesota, you know, Cat missed a significant time last year.
Yep.
You know, and it forced Minnesota to have to be the playing tournament. You know what I'm saying? It hurt them dramatically. I mean, they got to the playoffs, but if Cat wouldn't have been out there as long as he was, would they have been higher last year? Okay? That played a factor too, you know, as well. So you got to look at it. Look at Miami. Miami didn't shoot the ball particularly well last year as well. They were a really bad offensive team most of the year last year. Or on the team when people seem to forget. And that really affected, you know, why they were in the position they were last year, why they had to grind all the way through to get through the play-in tournament, to get through the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So people say, "Oh, regular season doesn't matter." The regular season absolutely 100% does matter. Okay? I mean, if you don't do well, you're not making the playoffs. You're just not, or you're going to be fighting for a play-in tournament spot, like we've seen with the Lakers last few years. You know what I'm saying? We've seen with Minnesota the last couple of years.
Or the Clippers, that they've been like going through the motions in the regular season, and they haven't achieved anything.
No, you can't, because during the season, you got to count things. You can't say, "Oh, well,
and build habits.
You got
to build camaraderie, habits, and develop that chemistry."
Yeah. You can't play crap for like half the season or wait till the freaking All-Star break. Oh, wait, now it's the All-Star break. Now we got 20, 30 games. Like, let's go and play basketball. You know, you can't do that. You got the better start to get off. Like for example, Lakers last year. Lakers were 2-10 last year to start the season last year. But when you get off to that bad of a start, it puts more pressure on you to have to make up that ground later on. And eventually, that ground you have to make later on will come back to haunt you later on during the year. And eventually, it cost the Lakers in the end. So they got swept in the conference finals.
No, but for some people said, oh, it was the closest sweep in NBA history. It was very close and close and close. And Denver won by 1 point, and Denver won by 0.5 points.
To me, I don't care if you lose by a fucking 1 point or 30, but a sweep is still a sweep. You get swept, you got swept. You didn't win a single game, you still got swept. Period.
It's crazy, man. It says, we got a comment here. Monster defender John Stockton, leader, steals and assists all time. Booger Mamba mentality is the leader. Oh, come on, man. Let's not put Mamba mentality next to Booger, man. We've seen that before with Tatum. People saying that Tatum got the Mamba mentality. KD, most ability, skills, points ever since, but it's not good defenders. But we'll see, man. I don't want to take more advantage of your time. The last question that I got for you, I don't know if you saw the GM survey this year.
I remember being talked about on Players' Choice, though, but everybody was kind of talking over each other, though.
Damn.
So it was kind of hard to hear everybody's views when they were talking about it. But I heard bits and pieces, but not the full extent of it.
I just got one question about this. I think it was 50 questions that the GM has to answer. It says, if you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player in the NBA, who would it be? Give me a guess. Who do you think is the number one player?
I would say, for me, it's probably Jokic.
Wow, not 33%. Nikola Jokic. I agree too. He's 28 years old and he's on his prime. Number two, who do you think it was number two?
I would probably say Giannis probably.
Facts. To me, it was a disrespect. It was a disrespect to Giannis not putting number 2. Number 2 was Victor Wembanyama. I respect Victor. I've been studying him before the draft. I've been watching his game when he played the other day. But to me, how the hell do you put Victor Wembanyama as the second best, as the second player that you were to pick to start your franchise? How?
Yeah, because listen, I think Victor's a very talented ball player. I think when he first starts his career, I think he'll be a really good defender when he first starts. You know what I'm saying? But I think his offensive game, I think he's got the offensive package, but I think it's going to take time to develop in the game because I think that the Spurs are going to try to focus more on him, be more of a defender at first because of his size and his length. He does, like I said, he needs to bulk up a little bit more because he doesn't have enough upper body strength up there to bang down below. Because if you put him a guy like Embiid, who's a lot bigger than he is, Embiid can body him down below because he's much stronger than he is. Or a guy like Jokic, those guys will just body him, but they're too strong for him. See? And I'm not saying the Wimmer is not very talented. And sure, could he be a face of a franchise? Absolutely, the talent's there. But can we just wait and see first? Yeah. Can we see the guy play some regular season games?
He hasn't played one regular season game, not one. And it's something similar to. Do you remember when Zion was playing in Duke and people were saying, "Oh, Zion, he's playing in college, but he's a top 30 player in the NBA." Really?
Yeah, I just like there's some players when they come into the NBA, you can just say, "Okay, that dude's it." When we look at a guy like Wilt Chamberlain, people forget Wilt Chamberlain was a Harlem Globetrotter for crying out loud, so everybody could see his skills beforehand. You know what I'm saying? When you watch a guy like freaking Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were competing for national champions in college. You look at Kareem.
Kareem.
He was one of the greatest collegiate players ever in fucking basketball. You know what I'm saying? Then look at a guy like Patrick Ewing. People overlook Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing was competing for national champions almost every year in college, literally. You know what I'm saying? So when you got a guy that every year, all the time in college, you can say this guy's going to be a pretty good ball player. And then some other guy's he has potential. He could be this great thing. And they turn out to be a total bust. No, he's like certain players you just know. So everybody's like, okay, that dude right there, he's got it. You see the intangibles, you see it in him. Like with Michael Jordan. When Michael came in the league, man, you knew Michael was going to dominate. And this guy won a gold medal in the Olympics before he even came into the damn NBA. Come on, seriously. How many players win a gold medal in the Olympics before they even come into the NBA play single game? That's almost unheard of, almost.
Yeah, and it was a coach when he won in '84 the Olympic medal that he said he's the best player, he's the greatest player that I ever seen before he got into the NBA.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you look at certain guys, you can just tell when they come in the NBA, they're going to be that guy. You can just see that they're going to be that game-changing, like Shaq. If you watch Shaq in college, man, you can tell that Shaq was going to be a force. When
in LSU, right?
I think so, yeah. You can just tell when you watch Shaq play in college, you knew he was going to be a force. You're like, this guy's going to be dominant. He's going to dominate the league. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Where the guy in his league. When you saw Kevin Durant at Texas, even though Kevin Durant was at Texas for a very short time, but he said, okay, Kevin Durant's, he's got some. You know what I'm saying? You can see the intangibles. You can see the shooting ability. Even with Jason Kidd, people didn't hype up Jason Kidd when he came out of college, but you can see the intangible with Kidd when he was in college though too as well. You can see his passing ability, his defense. We knew his shooting wasn't there, but we saw the other things too as well about him.
He was tough.
He was tough too. He had that toughness to him too. So certain players you can just see if you watch them in college and you really observe them really quickly, do they have that mentality about them? Do they have that willingness to battle hard? Do they have the willingness to put the work ethic in? Do they have room to improve their game? You know what I'm saying? And some players okay, that guy is like, no. And some players like, okay, it's like, when people look at Jokic. Jokic got drafted during a Taco Bell commercial for crying out loud. Come on. That was like
in the second round.
That's like one of the biggest insults in NBA history, almost. I think so. But if anybody looked at his tape when he was playing in Serbia, though, the intangibles were already there already. If you just looked at the way he played, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have the bulk he has now, no. But you saw the skill set. The skills were there. You know what I'm saying? You saw the ability was there. You saw the playmaking ability. You saw he had the ability to score.
But there are some people. I watched a video that got released a couple of days ago about Jokic, and there was someone who said, "Oh, I watched 10 minutes of Jokic tape. He didn't dunk once." It's like, as you mentioned, some people put their focus on skills and other things, but some people still wanna like trying to put this label of a center to be dominant inside and to dunk, and that's way you like that you value a center, like how many dunks he has, and that's different. Has changed. The games has changed.
Oh yeah, of course, because look at a guy like Keem Olajuwon. Like, oh, Keem, like, oh, he's just dunking everybody the entire time. No, Keem was using post-up moves, post fakes on guys,
Soft touch.
Jump shots, soft touch as well too. You know what I'm saying? He was doing different things to get his points. You know what I'm saying? You don't always have to be this, a guy who just dunks the ball. Not everybody's Dominic Wilkins, okay? Don Wilkins was a human highlight reel for crying out loud. I mean, he can just attack them with force. I mean, or Sean Kemp or Michael. Not everybody's those kind of players. You know what I'm saying? You have different kinds of players. You know what I'm saying? As well.
And sometimes I think it's hard to evaluate or to talk about a player if he is not athletic, because the first thing that we are going to say about a player that shows out in highlights and things like Ja Morant, oh, he's athletic, he can dunk, but we like that overshadows sometimes other deficiencies on his game,
Yeah.
That's a fact, man.
It's like when people look at a guy like John Stockton, you know what I'm saying? They look at him like, oh, he looks like the guy next door, you know what I'm saying? Like he could be like your freaking, the guy who delivers your milk to you. Yeah, really. But if you look at John Stockton, though, this guy was tough as nails, man. He was tough for a guy who was 6'1". You know what I'm saying? Because I remember there was a story about Chris Webber. He was talking about one time when he was playing against John Stockton, he literally knocked Stockton out on purpose to get him off his game because he wanted to see what he was going to do. And Stockton got right up, smacked him on his ass, said, "Good hit." And Chris Webber just I said, "What can I do?" There's nothing I can do about it. It's like, come on. It didn't change him at all.
There was another story that I heard. I don't remember who it was, that he said like John Stockton threw the ball at his face because he was guarding him 94 feet, and then John Stockton said back the fuck off,
Yeah.
John Stockton was going at it.
Yeah, people look at a lot of those players back then, say, oh, those guys weren't tough back then, those guys. But let me tell you something. Back in those eras, man, it was a different time period, a different era. Back then, you not only had to be physically tough, you had to be mentally tough too as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it was as much physical as mental. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys would play mind games when you try to psychologically get you out of your game. Look at Bird.
The shit talking, bullying.
Bird would do it all the time. I mean, if you look at back in the 80s, him and Dr. J got into a feud once. They got no fist by each other back in the day too. Yep. Even Kareem went to punches with guys back in the day too, which people seem to forget as well too. It wasn't just the Patrick Ewings, the Oakleys; those guys did it too back in the days. Because it was their competitor. And if you back then, couldn't take it, then guess what? You weren't going to last. And that's why I look at the players today. The players are very talented. They're very skilled. No one debates that question. But the question is, if you took some players today, will they have the mental toughness to survive those errors? If some guys in your face talking trash to you, what I'm saying? Or some guys get into you, what I'm saying? Or some guys willing to throw down with you. Or you're going to be willing to do the same thing. Even Reggie Miller, look at Reggie. Reggie's a skinny little dude. But I even saw Reggie throw down with dudes, for crying out loud, and get mixing with guys. I mean, it's crazy, I mean, even role players. I mean, look at P.J. Brown. I saw P.J. Brown hip toss a guy over his head once, for crying out loud. I mean, come on. Even Rex Chapman back in the day was talking trash to Michael, for crying out loud. I mean,
when he scored like 39 on Michael, right?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Mike, yeah, what? I mean, even role players would talk trash back then. I mean, that's crazy back then. But back then, you had to have that mentality back then. Otherwise, you'd get bullied back then. You would just get bullied ball back then. I would punish you. You know what I'm saying? They would. They would just run you off the court.
It was this what is called the only the strong survives. It was like some type of mentality like that, right?
Absolutely. That's the thing. Like the bad boy Pistons, they preached that. You know what I'm saying? Only the strong survive. That was their mentality. You know what I'm saying? We fight to the finish. We battle nonstop for 4 quarters. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was. The Knicks were the same way with Patrick and Knicks. Hey, we battle. We go to war.
Miami.
Yeah, even Miami, even the Pacers. You know, those teams, they battled back then. You know, it was a battle. You know, look at the Celtics and Philadelphia rivalries back then. It was a battle. Those teams went at each other. You know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, bring your A game. If you don't, you're gonna get wiped out. They're not gonna show pity on you, and they don't care. They're like, I'm gonna talk trash. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna school you. What you gonna do about it? Stop me. Come and stop me then. And that's just how it was back then. Nowadays, if you say that to people, like, oh my God, my feelings got hurt. Oh.
And you have given these players of this generation a lot, you know. Players back then weren't, they were not like earning 30 millions a year. You didn't got like role players getting 30, 35, close to 40 millions.
No, look at Dylan Brooks, look at the contract he got this year. I mean, seriously, Dylan Brooks. I mean, come on. I mean, he got like 20-some million.
Yeah, but I think we need players like Dylan Brooks. You know, like in the fact of I like Dylan Brooks because he went at LeBron, he went at Curry. You know what I'm saying? I think we need more.
I think Dylan Brooks is like, he's a very interesting player. You know what I'm saying, like that and stuff. And I think he's something that the league needs more of, a little bit more. I think a little bit more guys like him. But at times, though, I think he tries to be too much like Dennis Rodman, but not every Dennis
antics,
Rodman.
right?
Rodman, yeah, you know, the antics, don't say it like that. You know, Dennis Rodman could get away with that shit stuff because Dennis Rodman was tough as nails. I mean, you talk about a guy who was fierce, he was fierce. You know what I'm saying? You know, those guys, you know, you had enforcers back in the day too, like Charles Oakley. But Oakley wasn't an enforcer, though. You know, Oakley would, you know, you come in Oakley go back at you. And then Oakley wouldn't care. Or Anthony Mason, you go with those guys, they're going to come back at you. They're gonna okay, you want to go with me? Fine. Or a guy like P.D. Brown, you know, even the Davis brothers in Indiana, you go at them, they're gonna come back at you. They're not just gonna back down. They're gonna come at you for a fight. You better prepare to throw down with them. If you're not, you're not gonna last. That's just who they were. But Dylan Brooks, though, like sometimes he'll charp at guys though. But I think if you go toe-to-toe with Dylan Brooks, though, I think if he goes with a real guy though, he's like, okay.
No, and we saw when LeBron got close to him when they were going in the playoffs, and LeBron was talking to him, and Dylan Brooks looked kind of shaky. I have to say it. He looked shaky.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you. You know, that's why I call guys like him are kind of like fake tough guys. You know, they act really tough, but when push comes in the middle, when they get the guy who's going to say, okay, you want to go at me? Okay, fine. Let's see what you got, and I'm going to come at you. You know what I'm saying? And let's see if you can handle it. You know what I'm saying? See, like I said, like Robin. If you went at Robin, like, okay, Robin, like, come at me. I don't care. I'm not going to back down from you. I'm going to come at you. I'm not going to show her. Or Oakley. Those guys, hey, you want to come at me? Come at me then. I don't care. Or Patrick Ewing. Those guys, hey, you come at me, I'm going to come back at you. And then that was their guys' mentality back then. But these players nowadays, like, oh, I'm like Draymond Green. Like, oh, Draymond, he's a tough guy. I'm like, dude, that stuff he did with Jordan Poole and Sabonis, if he would have tried that shit back in the day, I guarantee you, those guys would have not taken it. No way in hell. If he'd have punched Jordan Poole like that to Reggie Miller,
and that talks about Draymond Green too. He preyed upon the weak. Did he punch Tristan Thompson? Did he punch LeBron James? He punched the weakest one, the one that wasn't gonna go back and forth with him. You know, Jordan Poole talks a lot of trash, but Draymond Green prey upon the weak, and I've been very, very, very critical of Draymond punk ass drink. You know.
Yeah, I like. Listen, I think Draymond Green is a very good player. He's a very solid player. No one debates his skill set. He's a very good passer defender.
And his IQ.
But yeah, I mean, no questions about it. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a very solid player. But you know, to me, you know, when I look at Draymond Green, you know what I'm saying? To me, people are, oh, he couldn't have played back in that era. No, he couldn't have. No, because as soon as he would have ran his mouth recklessly, let me tell you something. He would have got put into place really fast and really quick. If he would have gotten that, because those guys back then, he would have never tried to have those guys back then. With a guy like Oakley or Rodman or a Ewing or Reggie Miller or someone, even or Isaiah Thomas. You know, those guys aren't going to take us. They're not going to take his crap. They don't care.
Ring Mahorn.
Yeah, exactly. Those dudes don't get at you. They don't get. I mean, hell, I've even seen a guy like Mark Price. I've even seen Mark Price getting a feud with dudes too, for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? And he's a little dude. I mean, I've even seen Stockton, a guy like him, a guy like Small, go at dudes and not be afraid of him. I'm like seriously? I mean, come on. what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? It was a different time, a different era. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying the players today aren't tough. There are some very tough players in the league today. But if you look at the players back then, boy, whew, I would be afraid to get on the court with some of those dudes, man. I'm like I don't want to get on the court.
Yeah, that's the difference. They put fucking fear in your heart once you hit the floor.
Yeah, because like I remember once I heard an interview with Shaq one time. Though something he would literally knock guys in the board so they wouldn't dunk on him. He would literally knock guys on purpose so they wouldn't dunk on him. He would just do it on purpose, wouldn't care. I'm just knocking for, don't care. You know what I'm saying?
And the hard closeouts too.
Yeah, exactly. You look at Bill Laimbeer. Laimbeer didn't care who you were. He never cared how you were. He didn't care if you were Larry Bird, Dr. J. He didn't give a damn who your ass was. He'd lay you out. He didn't give a damn. He didn't care. You know?
I always remember when Oakley got like grabbed Pippen by his shirt and was looking like a little kid. That was crazy, man. And that was Scottie. That was Scottie Pippen, and he got quote unquote punked by Big Oak.
Yeah, I miss those time periods in the NBA though, because back in those days, you know, I see a lot of the younger generation when they talk about the old days, they kind of disrespect it a lot too. You know, there are some young generation people who don't, and the ones that don't, I really appreciate they don't. They really still respect those era generations who literally paved the way for this era of these players today. Because without those players, you don't have these players today. Without Bird, you have no Kevin Durant. You know, so you just don't. You know,
they set the table for this generation.
I mean, absolutely no question about. Without those guys, you don't get these players nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They don't. People talk about this player, that player. Without those players, you don't have these players. You just don't. You know, before people like about Luka, like Luka. But before there was Luka, there was the Big O. The Big O came before Luka, okay, and stuff. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? You know, let's not forget this. You know, but Steph Curry. Even before Steph Curry, there was a logo Jerry West. The logo, people forget logo couldn't play or something, you know? And so if they're like, there's the Carmelo Anthony, all guys. But people forget, what about Rick Barry? Did people forget about Rick Barry? Rick Barry was a very good scorer, very good shooter in his day. Did people forget this? You know? That's what I'm saying to you. People forget those kind of players. They just do.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. It has been a great conversation. I appreciate you, G-Mag, man, for being here with me in my show, man. I really appreciate it. I learn a lot when you come here. So let's try to keep doing this, man. I really appreciate you and the work that you done, man.
Hey, no problem, man. It's nice to talk to someone like that's willing to listen, have the facts break into them. Because I don't have a problem with the younger generation nowadays, but I look at like them on Players' Choice. I see a lot of the younger guys who are talking basketball, some of them, and the way they disrespect the older eras or don't give it the proper due it deserves, it just astonishes me. It's like really? And some of you guys weren't even born when some of these guys were even playing. And what makes it even more impressive is some of the young guys, they talk, I watch the games, but most of them admit they don't even watch the games a day. So if you're not watching the games a day, then how do you believe you're watching the games back then?
That's horrible, man. That's a great point, man. I can understand if you didn't watch obviously games back in the day, but if you are not watching basketball nowadays, it's like, come on, man.
Because I once heard Dub when he was on Players' Choice once. He said, they had a topic once, and he was saying, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really watch the game. But then he started talking about, like, how are you gonna talk about something you didn't watch? But then sit there and say you watched the games back then. There's no way you're doing it. I look at most of the young guys. I'm not saying all young guys this, but I think some of the young guys, some of the others, they go back and they watch tapes of old games for like 15, 20 minutes. They take some notes. And then when someone like me come up there, who's a little bit older, who actually grew up in that time and watched the era, studied the players, learned the players' game, how they played back then. And if I say even one more thing, they say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's full of crap. We know. It's like, dude, most of you weren't even born at that time period. I'm like, seriously? It's like,
and I've been saying this, a lot of young people or people in general that we pay attention and look talking about basketball. They are great. They are great at debating and making arguments and talking and communicating. But sometimes you have to have that. Plus, you have to be a student of the game. A student of the game is like all basketball, new basketball, all media, new media. You can always keep learning. And that's something that I've been trying to do, you know, for the last couple of 3-4 years.
Yeah, and that's why I like when the younger people like yourself, you know, saying who's a little bit younger than me, you know, what I'm saying like they go back, they actually pay attention, they watch the game, they actually study the game, look at the game films, you know, how the game was played back then, you know what I'm saying. And I see a lot of young YouTubers like, hey, this guy really knows what he's talking about. He's really paying attention, he's really focusing, and I don't mind listening to a guy. But when I have to listen to some of the guys on Player's Choice though, who are young and like that, and they're making these ridiculous takes though that are completely blasphemy, I'm like, what are you guys doing? It's like, come on. Are you guys even watching this?
And that's another point. It's like they like to talk a lot. They like to give their takes, but they are not like asking questions. To me, that's something that I've learned a lot too. It's like learn to ask questions and to learn from other people. If I would be surrounded by people of my age, it wouldn't be the same. I need people with a lot more experience. I need to learn from them. I got to ask them questions, you know, like Kobe, when he got into the league, he went to Gold Mountain, Bird, Hakeem, Magic, Big Robertson, Jerry West, Bill Russell. It's like, I got to learn from these people, man.
Yeah, it's true, you know, those guys, you know, because you can learn a lot from an older generation too, that they can teach you a lot, you know, so they can teach you, you know, these things, like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, you know, and you can use that. Like, we look at Bruce Lee, the martial artist, you know, he would just say, I don't just study one style. I said all different kinds of styles, so I can learn different things, you know what I'm saying? So I can become, you know, better at what I do. You know what I'm saying? That's how you grow. That's how you evolve as an individual, is learning different things. You know what I'm saying? Not just being about being narrow-minded and having tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I mean, I like when the young people like this, like yourself, and like a lot of other people, when they're willing to listen, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, I said, oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for teaching me. I can take some of that and I can pass on to somebody else, you know what I'm saying? And if a young person like says something to me like, hey, I didn't know that. Thank you for teaching me that, you know what I'm saying? No, you can learn from each other, you know what I'm saying? And that's an important thing, you know? But when you see a lot of these younger YouTuber guys, they don't want to do that some of them. They don't want to learn. They don't want to hear your point of view, but say you can learn something. You know what I'm saying? You might learn something valuable that can help you.
And in life in general, it's not something about basketball. It's in life in general too, right?
Oh, absolutely. It can apply in your life too as well, in your personal life too as well. How it can affect you, how you look at things, how you do things, how you approach things, how you approach with people, how you behave in a certain way. All those things play factors in this too, as well.
That's a fact, man. Wow, it was an incredible show. I will cut this part and I will upload it to my YouTube channel. So thank you, man. Thank you once again for being here with us. It's always a great conversation with you, man, when you come on in my show, man.
Hey, man, no problem. Hey, like I said, I started my channel too, the GMAC show already. So I've been making a video for the last couple of weeks. So I want to continue talking about, I'm starting my NBA video starting next week about the whole.
Oh, really? Wow. I think I'm already subscribed if I'm not mistaken, but I'll be watching that, man. I got to watch it, man.
Yeah. I've been talking about the NFL so far because it's like been hectic, and I'm promoting like horror movie month as well too. As well, it's been really busy for me lately. So it's been one thing after another, but I enjoy doing it though. I love doing it though. I have fun doing it.
Cool, man. So go and check GMAC. What's the name of your YouTube channel? GMAC?
GMAC show. You can find me on YouTube and TikTok.
Wow, that's incredible, man. It's always a pleasure to have GMAC here with us, and hopefully we can have it in the future too. So that was it. Until next time, thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Much respect, man.
Thank you, man. Much to you, man.
Until next time, everybody. This was like a mixture between Spanish and English show. So hopefully you enjoy it, and we'll be back in the next episode. So until next time, shout out to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for watching us. Thank you, obviously, to GMAC.